Welcome to the motherfucking Fifth Stripe Podcast. Electric music song.
All right, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Fifth Stripe Podcast. As always, we got the group here. Professor Alan Villacorta, Professor Brandon Muyins. We got Coach Ricky here, Professor Berto, got Coach Austin.
Hello.
And I am
By the way, that was a nice accent you had. Can you repeat that?
I mean, I could, what for Muyins?
Shit.
Yeah, it's I've been working on it.
Austin is henceforth referred to as Gracie Boss student number 2014.
2014. Absolutely. We've had a lot happening this week here at Fifth Stripe. We picked up a new sponsor, Preps by Jay-Z. Our boy Jordan's hooking us up. Alan's been needing to reach that rooster weight, and Professor Brandon's saying he can't do it. So Jordan stepped in to
he can't
make that happen.
You know what? These guys are here eating pizza, jalapenos, and all this bullshit.
Still on weight.
Man.
Still on weight. I'm just staring.
I know, man.
While you eat your pizza,
Professor Allen and
You're
I
drinking
had a chance
beer,
to,
Professor.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. You
It's
got
low carb.
It's basically just to deal with you guys. But no, Professor Allen and I have been graced enough to try some of these meals he's had. I had some buffalo chicken mac today, and that shit was delicious.
Man, I'll tell you what. I was at work, and I tell everyone, hey, I'm doing these meal preps. Everyone's asking me by who. I'm like, hey, it's meal preps by Jay-Z. I warmed that shit up. That shit was amazing.
It was amazing. I mean, I had no doubts, but I was impressed by how much better it was than I thought it was going to be.
I hope he puts that on the permanent menu. You know?
I also had the lemon chicken with the roast potatoes and the green beans. I'll tell you what.
That's a classic move, lemon chicken.
Man, it was amazing. No complaints there. But seriously, if you guys are interested, you can hit him up on his Facebook page at Preps by Jay-Z, or hit him up on the gram, Bicep God. So, man.
I already had some people hit me up. You know, I actually gave them a little bit. They're like, hey, I'm going to hit him up. So
there you go, man.
I'm happy about that.
Make your dreams come true and let him help you.
A rooster.
Also, as always, Saloon door letting us enjoy our time here in the brewery and enjoy the drinks that the brewery is dispensing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's really awesome to have this podcast here every week. It's something to look forward to, something to get together and throw back some cold ones here actually in the brewery. I'm having the No Honeydew, which is our hazy IPA right now. Houston Haze Craze is real. We're having our anniversary party on the last weekend in April 26, 27, 28, I think. But if those dates are not right, don't hold it against me. But it's the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But they're welcome to show up and drink on those days anyways.
That's
that
great.
correct?
Perfect. Yeah, that
Absolutely.
works. Yeah. Hey, that's the beer business, right?
It's the most pleasant mistake you'll make.
So, it's a fun deal. It's our third anniversary, and we're really excited. We've got
Congratulations.
a lot of things between now and then. We're doing some crawfish boils. If you follow us on Facebook, you can always stay up to date on what's going on. It's just Saloon Door Brewing on Facebook. And thank you guys for coming out. Also, just real quick, Professor Allen's beer is the most high carb beer in the whole establishment. So don't believe the hype.
Thank
That
you.
low carb beer.
Gracie Boss student 2014. Thank you very much.
You need to fire that bartender.
Austin, I have a question for you. I know you recently had a sale on your IPA 4-packs. Is
That's
that
true.
still a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we put down two IPAs, a single IPA and a double IPA into the 4-packs of 16-ounce cans. That's 4 pints, and now they're available for $10. We're trying to clear out the stuff. We're making room for some new beers coming out really soon. Ridiculous AF on the grocery store shelves very soon. HEB, Arlen's, Total Wine Specs. We're thrilled. But we've got to move this IPA. Still good. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not as amazing as it was.
You should make a beer called We Gotta Move It.
Yeah, but it's pretty darn good, and it's the right price for a beer that's like 9%. So 4 pints for $10, that's not a bad deal. So for all you alkies out there,
social drinkers.
yeah,
social drinkers.
come and check it out. It's delicious.
We're called dedicated social drinkers.
There you go. We just got a lot to talk
So
about.
if you find yourself with $12 in your pocket,
Yeah.
you don't have enough for an Uber, you're gonna walk 2 miles,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a good night.
That's right.
I'd like to say thank you, craft beer, for turning my alcohol problem into an interesting hobby.
Man,
into a trend.
I'd like to say thank you, craft beer, for allowing you to purchase those sweet ass glasses.
Hi-yo.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right. Also, we'd like to give a shout out, as always, to Third Coast Grappling. They are the magicians behind the scene here. They lead our marketing, our tech, and they've been doing nothing but wonders for us. We've been blowing up a lot here recently. We appreciate that from all you guys listening. And I always like saying this. Our final sponsor, what is it?
JustGeePants.com, son.
Tell us about that shipping.
Handling all your replacement gi pants needs. Always free shipping in the U.S.
How's that guarantee, though?
6-month guarantee.
Man, that's longer than most relationships these days.
Exactly.
You guys, it's just Gi Pants?
JustGeePants.com. Check out our Facebook page. We're pumping out constant high-level jiu-jitsu memes. We got a sweet one with Ric Flair involved this week. Check it out.
That one was awesome.
It was good.
Yeah, if you think
Was that
you're
What?
Was that reaping?
That was real. Is what
Was
it
he
was.
reaping?
It was real.
Yeah. Okay.
that don't matter. If you guys think you're witty and you're funny, go follow justgeekpants.com on Facebook. Check out these memes. There's always giveaways going on.
We have great, we have great caption contests or meme contests. You win yourself a free pair of pants and sometimes a free T-shirt as well, which Oliver has never won to date.
Hold on.
I keep
Oliver, 4-time meme champion, has never won it because Professor Brandon refuses to allow him to win that.
That's not true. I don't even pick the winners. I always get other people to pick the winners. To remain unbiased. Now, I will pick a honorable mention. I will pick that. If somebody picks a winner and I thought somebody else was better, I'll pick an honorable mention, but that's second place.
All right. We'll address this later.
You got to work hard, Oliver.
But got to work smart. Okay? That's why we train jiu-jitsu. But for real, if you're on Facebook, check out their page, flex your funny nuts, and see if you win a nice shirt or some pants.
Get some pants,
Getting into it. Like I said, we had a lot of listener response. We had a lot of questions coming in. So I think we're going to start with...
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh,
what is
Gwyneth
in
Paltrow's
the
head.
box? Oh, man.
Motherfucking box.
It's getting,
What's in the box?
Sorry, phone's moving slow, trying to get these up for everybody.
Should you have been prepared for this?
I am prepared.
Weren't you setting up for like 30 minutes?
I kind of saw him with a notebook. He had a pen pad.
He seemed like he was put together.
He had a trapper
but now
keeper.
he's
He had a trapper keeper going.
Yeah,
it was Lisa
That's
Frank.
funny. That's funny because I saw you motherfuckers over there eating goddamn pizza while I'm over
Yeah,
there
that's because I'm the
working,
talent.
so-
You specifically.
That's
did
because I'm
not
the
want
talent.
help.
And I was
So
drinking beer.
I eat
Low
pizza,
carb.
and then Professor Allen spills beer on my denim jacket.
We had
He's
a craft
wasted
services
already,
table
folks.
Tonight,
That's,
courtesy
He's
of
tired
Dan
and
Pizza.
wasted.
Thank you, Dan. Not
All
an
right.
official sponsor. We paid for it, but you guys are still awesome.
There you go.
Love you,
Oh
Dan.
man, we might need to talk to Dan.
I think we need to.
I think we need to talk to Dan's about a one day a week thing, man. We
Dan's
gotta get
Pizza,
a pod.
Highway
We should-
3, Clear Lake, Texas.
yeah,
Check it
we
out.
should record at Dan's because Dan is awesome.
I'm
he
down
would be
with
a
that.
great guest.
I'm down
He's
with that.
got amazing stories.
Now, I had suggested earlier, Austin, that during the podcast, one of the members has to be throwing up pizza dough at all times during the podcast.
This is at Dan's, I'm assuming.
Is
right?
that dance?
Okay.
Do you want him?
Well, okay, not one person,
Pizza
but
in there?
not one person. Somebody involved in this podcast has to be throwing up pizza at some point during the podcast.
And constant flour just flying.
Constant.
Does it have
Constant
to be
flour all
the
over.
same pizza? That's
Yeah,
not
we
possible.
transfer it.
No, that's not.
That's going to be a good pizza once it's finally done.
It's going to be very soft
Yeah.
and like chewable. It'd be great.
So
Do you want to speak in stereotypical like New York Italian accents while we're doing that?
Oh,
like
yeah,
whoever
no,
Yes.
that
tossing the
definitely wouldn't be
pizza.
offensive at all. I
Hey,
feel like
you
we should embrace
guys,
that.
what are you gonna say?
Hey, oh, hey.
Whoa!
I must go to. I'm talking Mario right there.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Pizza me.
No, that's
Mine.
that's actually appropriate for this one, Professor.
But I think there is such thing as overworking your pizza, and I think 90 minutes of tossing a pizza.
Coach
is
Ricky, how many
overworked.
pizza restaurants do you own?
The artisan side of my brother has just came out. He's
Exactly.
like, "Whoa, hey, no,
Thank
the
you.
dough's not gonna be right, guys. I don't think so."
Coach Ricky came in and fact checked that. He's like, average time to toss pizza. No, you guys are fucked. You
no
guys are
such
fucked.
thing. There's no such thing as overtraining. There's only under recovery.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank
It
you.
might be over tossing, man.
All right, guys. Hey, let's get into what's in the box. All right, what's in the box?
What's
guys?
in the box?
What's in the box?
All right, we're not gonna say any names on here because you never know who's listening. But
Gina.
we'll just say Michael C. That's kind of a long question, but it's a good one, so I think we should address.
His real name is Jared.
Yeah, Michael C. aka Jared. Thank you, Michael C. Jared, for hitting this up. I'm just going to read this out, guys, so pay attention. Here it goes. So where I train, it's fair to say, is primarily a family environment. I mean, the kids' classes are twice as frequent and large as most of the adults, and the adults are just parents of the kids' classes. I made some great friends, and I like the people, but I find them in a unique position for the gym. I'm 30, single, no kids, and I can afford to train whenever, so I figured I'd give it my best shot and effort. I got my blue belt in December, and I'm really losing interest in the classes. The techniques taught are very basic in that they try hard to appease all body types, whereas I'm a longer, leaner, flexible guy that has a different style than almost everyone else at the academy. I'd love to learn and practice some inverted stuff, deep half, etc. So my question is, should I consider finding a new gym to align with my goals? Are there certain things I should be focusing on as a blue belt and things I shouldn't worry about yet? I try to compete at least 4 times a year, and I would like to start entering in the bigger tournaments, but the academy I'm at doesn't do a competition team or any special training for adults, so I don't feel prepared or have anyone to coach me really. So,
Okay.
man, what's in the box? I feel like the best way to approach this, we're just going to do a roundtable session.
Okay, so I'll if I can go first. That's,
Well, I mean,
fine.
you've already started.
You
so
already
who's
put it
gonna
out
say
there,
no,
right?
right?
well, I am going first.
It's like
So-
graduation order.
It's like whipping out your dick at an orgy and being like, "Am I invited?"
Yeah,
well, you're already here now.
So one, as far as looking for a new school, do you like the instructor? Do you trust him? If that's the case, stay where you're at. Okay. 2, if you need to challenge yourself more, then that's exactly what you have to do. You have to challenge yourself more. So one of the ways you can do that is to set goals for yourself in training. An example would be you're going to start every match in side control. You have to escape, and then you begin the match. Or you can only use one submission the entire night or the entire training submission. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You got to find a way to put the person in an arm lock or a triangle, and you got to really, really stick to those goals. That's one technique that I've used and many people have used to really, really make a lot of gains in your jiu-jitsu when you're training in isolation. So first, if you like your instructor, stay where you're at. Okay. 2, you need to challenge yourself by setting individual class goals and be disciplined about following those goals. 2, if you're competing 4 times a week, like that's great.
no, he wants to compete 4 times a
Excuse me.
4 times a year.
If you're
sorry.
competing 4 times a year, like that's great, and I'm glad to hear it, but that's by no means like a professional type of schedule. So I wouldn't really recommend, I don't think you need to go to a competition-oriented school to compete 4 times a year. Again, I'm not putting it down. 4 times a year is great. It's more than a lot of people, and I highly recommend you continue to do that. But I don't think it's so much that you need to go seek out some like major competition school. I think you're good where you're at, particularly if you like the instructor. Just be more focused in your training.
Hey, Oliver, does he give any details on what they're doing at the school? Is it mostly self-defense? Is it mostly, what exactly are they doing?
You just said basic.
Yeah, not to paraphrase, but it sounds like it's kind of it sounds like a type of jiu-jitsu school that would offer like an after-school daycare for kids to like roll around
shit.
on and like, hey, bring
So-
your parents in. The way he make it sounds like he's someone who has.
Do they pick them up or?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
So-
it's. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I had this experience once. I was at an academy. I liked my instructor at the time, but there were doubts, right? And I'll tell you, coming to this school where I'm at now, I've learned so many new aspects of jiu-jitsu. So if you have doubts, there's reasons why you have doubts, right? Now, are they
Yes
showing,
and no.
right? I mean, are they showing the whole jiu-jitsu? Are they showing stand-up, takedowns? Are they showing from the ground? Are they showing the old stuff, the basic stuff, the new stuff? Because you have to integrate everything, right? Whether it's self-defense or whether it's the new berimbolo, right? You have to know it all because eventually everything is going to come around. Just like the berimbolo, just the way the guard's coming back, right? So my thing, what I would say to this person is, hey, keep learning. If you feel like you're disconnected with the school, maybe it's not the right school for you, right? Maybe you have to look for something that, you have to have fun. If you don't have fun, then you got to switch. I mean, it is what it is. Once you create a loyalty to an instructor, is because you like it there, right?
Yeah, but don't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to contradict you, Professor Allen, but like, don't make out like the grass is greener.
Right.
I think again, you're competing 4 times a year. Again, that's great, but that's not so much that you need to completely change your lifestyle. And now, if your goal is to start with 4 times a year and then move to 6 times a year, 8 times, 10 times, 20 times, okay, then maybe you need to think about that. But you know what? You could also talk to your instructor. What team does he come from? There might be a bigger school from the same team that you can start complementing your training with. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be so quick to jump ship. Again, obviously you've been training there. You probably have a rapport with people. Maybe talk to your instructor. Maybe he'd be willing to take private lessons. I think there's plenty of things you can do at the school you're at to succeed.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that since he's saying he's made friends at the school already and he likes a lot of the people there, you cannot be the only person there that wants to compete, right? So align yourself with somebody else who also would like to compete, and then ask your instructor when would be a good time that you guys can maybe use the mat space to, drill the techniques that you want to work on. Maybe you want to work on some stuff the instructor is not particularly showing in class. So ask them about a technique that you want to work on, get their input, ask them to show you what's the best way to drill, and drill extra time. Like, I do a lot of my drilling nowadays outside of class. When I practice my techniques that go for my game, I don't really do them a whole lot in class. That's mostly because I'm teaching a lot of the time. But find a separate time to drill your own set of moves. And like Professor Brandon said, make specific goals for training.
Each class.
Help you. I can train in a way that benefits myself and the student, whether the student is, 300 pounds, 150 pounds, or 50 pounds, right? I can train
regardless of belt as well.
And I think after enough experience, that's how we train every day, right? I mean, after a certain amount of experience, I have some goals in mind every day. I don't care what Thick Rick wants. I don't care what Oliver wants. I don't care what anybody wants. I have a certain goal. Hey, I'm going to work De La Riva on my bad side. That's it. It is what it is, right?
Coach Ricky?
Well, are we going graduation order?
Well, because, we're going counterclockwise.
Well, no. I mean, it went Professor Brandon,
Thick
who's the
Rick.
most senior, then Professor Allen, then
got on the same
you.
day, yeah.
So then up next was Oliver.
That's true.
No.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean,
He
you're...
stands to my right.
No,
Coach
no,
Ricky's
he
on my
forces
right.
it.
But you've had it longer.
Yeah.
Say it. Talk.
Yeah, but that's not a good
speak.
thing. All right. Well, really, my thing's starting off. What's your ultimate goal? If you're like Professor Brandon was saying, if right now you're starting off 4 competitions a year, you said in your question that you'd like,
Which is great. I'm not trying to downplay that, by the way.
Yeah, no, definitely. But if your ultimate goal is to, you're doing 4 Nagas a year, but eventually you want to get into an IBJJF tournament, or you want to get, maybe get yourself set up for one of these colored belt super fights or something.
That's another great point, is the caliber of the tournament.
Yeah, that's the thing, because there's a lot of tournaments out there that doesn't really require you to have like an official ranking in jiu-jitsu.
Maybe he's looking for just the experience, right? Sometimes he's just trying to get it out there, trying to get,
Well, I'm just going by what he wrote in the
trying to throw himself out there like, some girls doing it every weekend, right? I mean, so it is.
But yeah, so for me, it really depends on what your ultimate goal is. Also, if you do get to that point where you feel like you're not getting what you can out of your school, communication is the best key to really any relationship, and that includes the relationship with your instructor that you're currently training under. Go talk to him. Let him know what your concerns are. Let him know what your goals are. And as unfortunate as it always is, the training doesn't necessarily always align with the business aspect of a lot of schools out there. And what makes for successful business isn't to train, one guy for competition.
You know what, Oliver? It may be he's just overreacting. Sometimes, hey, let's be upfront. When you're a blue belt, A lot of times you think you're the shit, right? So it's true. It's true. And sometimes he may be thinking maybe the school's perfectly fine. Maybe they're teaching the right shit and he's supposed to be learning what he needs to learn. But sometimes you're thinking, man, I'm a blue belt. I've been sparring with this guy,
Yeah, this kind of leads to what I want to say is so you said you wanted to learn some new techniques, which is good, right? But you're never going to get rid of the fundamentals. Ever. Yeah, so if you're tired of armbar from closed guard or X choke from mount, too bad, because that is going to happen forever, and it should. It makes you better. One time I was training with Professor Brandon, and a really simple technique that I remember being taught this when I was a blue belt kind of reemerged in my head when I was a purple belt, and he told me when the student is ready, the technique will come. And so that sounds like fortune cookie talk.
That's real though.
But
there's echo to that voice, right? It's like,
yeah. So
but that's real.
This is the thing though, is that if you keep doing a fundamental technique, let's say armbar from closed guard, you're going to get so many reactions, not an infinite number of reactions, a very finite number of reactions. And then those techniques to deal with those specific reactions can get advanced or be very simple.
Yeah, true mastery of a technique is being able to do it on somebody that is skilled and knows you are trying to do it, yet they cannot stop it.
Yeah, and they know the defense.
And they cannot stop it. So, I mean, perfect those fundamentals, dude.
I tell people all the time, you know what the difference between an armbar and a flying armbar is? You're fucking flying. You better know how to do that basic armbar before you start trying to fly. I mean, it's true. It looks better, but it's going to be not as effective at all if you don't know how to get the basics
Last
down.
one left, Coach Austin.
Austin, get into it.
All right.
What's your opinion, buddy?
I've been training 4 years, and I'm a transplant. I started at a school, and I love that school, and I love that professor. And someday, many, many, many years from now, if I have the honor of becoming a black belt, I'll be very happy to thank that professor along with my other professors for introducing me to the art and for coaching me and training me and telling me that I should keep coming and that I will get better and that I won't be bad forever and all these sorts of things. And I left his school, partly because I moved and partly because I wanted to train with Professor Dracolino because I had that opportunity. And as much as I loved my first school and I love my first professor, and I'm so happy to see him on the holidays, and when I go visit, I stop into his school. I did leave his school. I did that. I
yes,
loved
but you
it.
stayed on the same team, Austin.
I did. I absolutely
point.
did. I did. And there's no doubt about it, right? So the professor that I'm training with now that owns the school is the same professor that gave my first professor his black belt, awarded it to him, recognized him with it. I'm not sure the proper way to say that.
Can you say where were you training?
Corpus
Okay.
Christi.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, that school definitely had a lot of advantages. We did stand up every day down there, every single day.
That's a lot of comedy.
Coach
that's
Austin,
true.
how
Yeah.
come your takedowns are so bad then?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, because I started off. Look, you see my technique as it exists
Personal.
now. But
I think
what
it's
you
the
don't see is
sunglasses.
what it looked like my first
First you
day
got
walking
blue and
into
then you got red.
jiu-jitsu. Right, I've come
I'm
a
just
long
joking.
way.
I know. You're
But-
doing great.
Yeah, but so, I was very fortunate that I would travel so much. So I was able to train with Professor Tyler, and I was able to train with Professor Fabiana, and I was able to train at a couple of schools in Austin because of the horizontal membership for Gracie Baja. This is a tremendous perk, is that if you take your gi with you on vacation, there's usually a school that you can train at, which is remarkable. And so if I ever went to New York, I would want to train at Henzo's. I know it's not Gracie Baja, but I would want to drop into the school and see if I was welcome. And if I went to the West Coast, I would want to train with Professor Jean-Jacques Machado or Higa Machado if I could, and just go to the school and just train there. But my home base is Gracie Baja, Texas. I love the school. I love Professor. He's a lawyer like I'm a lawyer. He teaches, I tell this to everybody, nobody understands. Nobody went to law school. He teaches
I was pre-law.
jiu-jitsu like Law school.
Oliver, technically everyone's pre-law.
Thank you, Brandon. Jokes are best when you explain them.
And so
I was also pre-med.
I guess my advice would be that if you have the opportunity to transfer to a school, it doesn't make you a bad person.
Well, I think that the reasons why matter, right?
Big time.
So if it's because this person is looking for I don't know, for lack of a better word, flashier jujitsu.
That's not right.
That's not right.
No,
That's not right.
So here's my thing. If you want to, I mean, I guess kind of summarize what we're saying here. Look inside your school first. Go speak to your instructor. Tell him what your goals are. Tell him what you want to do with it. Maybe he'll offer up, hey, that's great. I like that drive in you. Let's do some privates. Let me get you where you need to be. A lot of professors, if they're legit professors and they understand what's going on, good professors will say, hey, you know what? If you have the opportunity to train at a couple other schools, maybe, develop your game, have at it, or if, give you these options. But right now, look inside your school. Every jiu-jitsu school has something to offer. If your instructor is, legit from a good lineage, he's got legit jiu-jitsu. You just got to ask him about it. A lot of those guys, you just got to approach them and they'll be more than happy to talk to you about it and get you where you need to be. But, ultimately, if you're paying your fee, you have goals. If you're not getting what you need out of that and you've spoken to your instructor and you guys can't come to an agreement, just be a man, be a gentleman and say, hey, you know what? I appreciate everything you've done. We're still cool. And, you got to do what's best for you ultimately in the end.
What if it's a woman?
Oh,
I don't assume gender. I just say he to keep
You said
things
be a
simple.
man.
I assume gender. The guy's name was Michael.
Yeah, his name is Michael. His name's Michael. So
Michael Jared.
Sorry, Mikhail. Yeah,
C.
Michael Jared. Michael C. Jared.
Yeah, he could be French and be called Michelle, but it's still a guy.
that's true.
Yeah. Either way,
I would just like to reiterate, almost guaranteed you can stay at your school and be as successful as you want to be. There have been many, many champions who have trained in isolation, including one of the greatest of all time, Hodger Gracie, as well as one of the greatest Americans of all time, Rafael Lovato Jr., all trained in isolation, and they accomplished the highest level of accomplishment in the sport. So I doubt you need to change schools. That's just my advice.
change
Next
your
question.
focus, right? Change your focus.
Yeah.
What else is in that motherfucking box?
All right. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right. So we've actually got quite a few submissions from
That's fitting.
Jeannie K. I'm gonna let you guys guess. Actually, one of our GBTX
What's one of them?
trainers.
What's one of them?
Well, we're gonna do the first one. It's kind of general, so it's gonna be pretty easy. BJJ and hygiene, and she says this stems from a time when she saw someone hack up a loogie and spit it into his gi top.
Oh,
So I'm gonna start on this one.
Hey.
wait, you have to say something straight up.
This is all I'm gonna say. Respect yourself. Don't be a dirty fuck.
Yep.
If you're not gonna do it in front of your fucking grandma at her wedding, don't fucking do it.
What if they would?
He probably would.
Well, you know what? If you get choked extra fucking hard and no one wants to roll with you, you know why, you dirty motherfucker.
Hold though. I remember once we Professor Brandon and I we were in a class and I almost stepped on some shit and I go to him and I tap him on the shoulder. I'm like,
There
what
was
the
poop
fuck?
on the floor?
Like shit.
It was
of the
similar.
class?
It could have been.
Must have been
was
after
it
the kids' class.
was it a
Somebody
baby room?
fucking like
Could have happened.
they
Baby room.
spitted some nasty shit on the mat. And then you can tell it was somebody doing it from the warm-ups, right?
Yeah.
And I tap him, I let him know.
I remember that. It was
Right?
a straight up loogie on the
It
mat.
was straight up.
Don't get
Yeah.
into that too much because we're gonna have a follow up question
So-
that might address some of
So
that stuff
he
later.
immediately, because it was just disgusting, because someone's
Right.
going to step on it.
Yeah, I
someone-
said who spit on the mat.
Yeah. So, and nobody fesses up. So listen, if you're going to do some shit, say that, hey, it was my bad, or hey, it could have been me.
No,
or
don't say it was
whatever.
my bad. Step the fuck off the mat, spit in the fucking trash
No,
can.
what I'm saying
Or,
is,
like, go
what
to
I'm
the
saying, if
fucking
you do
bathroom.
something, you say it was you, and then whatever, we'll
Just
deal
don't
with it
do
then.
Just don't do it.
But I just can't believe someone did that shit, right? I mean,
Well,
it was-
so
What
I'll
about you,
just
Professor Brandon?
I'll say this about hygiene. So I've told this story many times in class, or this sort of anecdote, and I think it's appropriate here, so I'll repeat it. I think this little story sums up the idea of hygiene in jiu-jitsu. We've all been training before, and you found yourself training, and there was a hair in your mouth. And so you kind of like spit and like, finger your tongue a little bit and try to get that hair off. And you think to yourself, oh, well, it's probably just a hair from somebody's head. But no, it isn't.
It's curly.
And
Okay.
Professor, how often does that happen?
Every day. And so you say, well, hang on, maybe it's an arm hair or a leg hair, but it isn't. It's another kind of hair, and it's in your mouth. Okay,
I'm not.
And so
I'm
the
not, I'm not,
point
I'm not smelling what you're
is,
stepping in. What kind of hair
you are
is
going to
this?
be exchanging all
Public hair?
kinds of hair
hair.
and fluids with people. If you're going to train jiu-jitsu, and everyone should do their best to stay as clean and as hygienic as possible. But if you're going to train with people, you are going to encounter some gross stuff.
So,
That's just part of the game.
Speaking of the Louis situation, I have something to say about that. So yes, that is fucking gross.
Right.
It is gross.
To just
It is
hawk a
gross.
loogie on the mat. That
We
is
have trash cans by the mat for a reason.
That's pretty gross. But I have
Well, just to be clear, I think a lot of people get embarrassed.
yeah.
They don't know what to do. They get embarrassed. They do something. They're even more embarrassed when somebody finds out. They don't speak up. I get it.
Yeah, but I've never been to the point where I'm like, man,
I
got
wouldn't
a
do
hot
that
fluid
either.
again. Oh my God,
I wouldn't
people
do
are
it
looking-
either. But I understand where they're coming from.
So I don't understand not being able to just excuse yourself off the mat. However, there was one time where I was sparring. So I'm MMA sparring with professional MMA fighters,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, it's a whole different beast. Though.
Yeah, I'm actively in a round and my nose just like locks up. Like I cannot breathe out of my nose. So it's like, do I either like snot rocket, all right, and be able to breathe, or do I keep mouth breathing and let this
Snot rocket.
100-pound monster keep beating the shit out of me? 'Cause
Snot
I-
rocket.
I can't focus. So I ended up, I snot rocketed on my own rash guard.
Yep.
So it wouldn't go on the mat.
Yep.
Right? So I sacrificed it on myself.
Inside your rash guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pull your collar open
Yeah.
and do it inside the rash guard. Yep,
So,
that's the appropriate
completely
move.
different, though,
I had to
That's
do
appropriate.
it because I was actively being punched and kicked in my face.
And we're assuming, too, that everyone showers after class.
Dude, I hope you shower before class. to be
Well,
honest
you should.
with you. Yeah.
So your gi should always be washed before you come to the school.
Oh, yeah.
Your nails should be trimmed.
Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't have boogers hanging out of your face.
Try not
all
to.
And you
Get the
should-
sleep out of your eye.
as soon as you get home.
Wipe your ass.
Wash your ass. Don't sit
Wash your dirty
in
ass.
sweaty clothes and watch a 1-hour TV show.
Your gi
Like,
should come
that's
off
how
as soon as you get
infections
home.
and shit.
Well, and don't crumple your gi up and put it in your car. Like, I think you can wear your gi once, hang it up to dry without washing it, and wear it a second time. I think that's fine.
Negative.
Depends who you are.
Yeah,
It
not
depends who
me,
you are,
not me.
and
Yeah, if you're Brandon Mullins, that shouldn't be a thing.
you have to hang it up. If you put it in a bag, it becomes disgusting toxic waste.
Definitely. What about you, Austin? What's your ideas on BJJ hygiene?
So when I first started at the school, I came from a school where you could change like butt naked in the
On the mat.
in the locker room, right?
You can still do that.
Yeah. Well, but like it's kind of frowned on because we have children in and out of our locker room. So
It's still a locker room.
now
We don't have- we have little-
I just go in the private room with the toilet and I change.
It's called a bathroom, Austin.
The water closet if I need to change my undergarments. Otherwise, I don't mind being in my athletic shorts and stuff. In the
Spandex.
locker room. But so one thing that I didn't
Spanx.
do, I wasn't wearing
Tights?
I wasn't wearing flip flops. Right, I just walk around barefoot. That's the custom from the gym I came from. And so then Jonathan, Crew Jonathan, awesome guy, came up to me one day and he goes, "Why don't you wear flip flops?" And I was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Dude, you're walking around getting the shit on your feet, and
I hate that shit.
and the shit goes onto the mat, and then people's faces are rubbing on the fucking mat."
That's true.
That's absolutely.
Yeah, and so I said, "You know what, Crew Jonathan, respect, right?" And I went and got some flops, and I've worn them ever since because he set me right on that.
Yeah, so fair warning.
Yeah.
If you don't bathe after training, weird shit will grow on you.
That's true.
If you're consistent.
Ringworm, baby.
100%.
That's true.
Weird
Yeah,
thing.
ringworm.
That's true. All right, my insensitive ass skip Coach Ricky. We didn't do graduation order.
Yeah.
No, follow up. I mean, I like your ringworm talk. It's kind of sexy.
He actually has
they
something
better
on his
wash they
fucking
nasty
video right now.
ass.
Well, so one thing I was gonna say actually is that when training, a lot of the times let's say I'm defending the back, someone gets a choke. Like I don't mean to slobber, I don't mean to drool. Like sometimes it's excusable.
Well, that was the point of my story about the hair in your mouth. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's like
we are getting to know each other pretty intimately. And like I draw the line if somebody is openly bleeding all over the place, like that's gross, but you're going to get pubic hairs in your mouth. Let's be honest. You're gonna get slobber on you.
If
As
you don't
Coach
stop
Ricky
training
said.
for that shit.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you're gonna get
drip sweat in your mouth.
Sweat. Exactly. I've had beads of sweat go in my mouth, in my eyeball. I mean, I don't like that kind of stuff, but it's just it happens during training. And, you know, it's like farting when you have sex. It happens. What are you going to do? You're just going to stop? You just got to plow right through it. You know what I mean?
You got to go.
I kind of equate it to almost
Coach
like,
Ricky, sorry, go ahead.
almost getting injured.
No, I think
Hey,
you.
what do you think when you're sparring somebody and you know sometimes you bump heads, you know it's not hard,
But yeah,
and the guy's like, oh, god damn!
Well, so-
I feel like
Well, so you know it's not hard to you. Maybe
That
it's
means he
hard
wants
to
out of the
them.
match.
you can tell you know where the body is.
some people are sensitive though. But no, I mean, I kind of equate the hygiene thing to like getting banged around in jiu-jitsu. You know, you're going to catch a knee, you're going to catch an elbow, but the thing, it's intent. You know, if you're trying to pass my guard by dropping elbows or you're trying to slam knees into me, that's an issue. Now, if you're trying to spit on me while we're trying to pass my guard or something,
shit.
that's a fucking issue. But accidents happen, you know. So
What if it's a pretty lady?
well,
I had a training partner one time.
She's spitting.
that's $20, man.
Yeah.
Those are tough.
What if a pretty lady's trying to pass your guard?
You know what I have
Shit.
to deal with?
Just
I have to
spits in
deal
your
with this
face.
all the time. Is
I'd be like,
just the
people
the
pay
little
good money for
kids-
that.
Yeah.
Just the little kids with the snot.
Snotty nose.
Oh man,
Right, so like I don't want this to get rubbed on all the geese in the
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
Bro,
So I will be like, hey, come here, and I'll go off to, and multiple times parents have stopped me and been like, do you have kids? And I'm like, I
No.
have about,
you're like, nah, but I have an
I have about-
aversion to your
I have about
kid's
300.
snot.
I have about
What's
300 of them,
what's
so I've just gotten used to like doing that. Like just here, don't blow till I say, let me be ready.
Yeah.
All right, ready? One,
Yeah.
2, 3, blow. Okay, flip. 1, 2,
No, what's weird about that is when you hold it for the little kid in their nose and you say, all right, ready, blow. Their head vibrates so much. It's just so much snot.
Ricky.
It's insane.
Ricky.
You know what's funny that they trust you and they actually do it. I actually like it. You know,
because they take a big breath beforehand. They're
Ricky, your
All
life
in.
your life is gonna change when you have.
Does anyone else do this? So like when I blow my nose, this happens probably 1 every 5 times. So I'll blow my nose once and then I'll take a deep breath to blow a second time, but I'll inhale the Kleenex in my mouth. And for a second,
That's never happened to me.
for a second, I think I'm going to choke to death.
That has never happened.
Like this happens to me seriously 1 in 5 times. Every time I blow my nose,
1 out of 5.
am I the only person that does that?
I think so.
Yes.
black
I think
belt?
so.
Black
I have
belt
like
on the
I have like a
mats.
miniature panic attack, man.
Black belt on the mats, white belt when it comes to Kleenex.
It's like a wet
This is how
D
it's
over your
going to
face,
end. I'm
man.
going to choke on a
Man.
snotty Kleenex.
Shit.
There are
man,
worse ways to
that
go.
would, that would
What's
be,
in the box?
that's
What's
some
the next
irony
one?
right there.
There are so
All
much
right. Actually, that one's kind of a fun topic. We'll save that one a little bit to the end. That one's a fun topic too.
Oh man, I had 2 things happen today that I want to talk about.
we'll catch that here after what's in the
Cool.
box. All right, here's
Both
a good
of
one.
them were fantastic.
When is it acceptable to decline to roll with someone? That's
Almost never.
Unless they fucking stink.
Well, okay. Let's keep it short. Everybody give just one good time. It's okay to decline to roll with someone.
You can decline to roll. I think if you personally are very, very injured,
Good answer.
you can sit out.
Good answer, Professor Allen. One.
If you fucking stink,
If you stink or if they stink.
it ain't me. Because I use mouthwash even before going into class. I take a shower before going to class. Like that's
So do
if
I.
you fucking
So do I.
Like a
stink
gentleman.
and you know what I'm saying? Like
Like a
if
gentleman.
if you fucking stink and I just take one whiff, sometimes you can have that little. You can have a little something. I respect.
That's not
that.
true because I stink all the time when you train with
No,
me.
but I'm used to it.
Yeah, but that's
I like it.
That's the musk of skill.
I smell like a man, so it's okay.
That's the musk of skill.
Man, I don't know if that's why I keep trying to spar with you. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. Like one thing is to have a little something, and one thing is to fucking stink.
All right, hold up. Quick side piece. Ricky, you're a D&D player. Is the musk of skill something that you can cast to
Terrific.
defeat
The
anything?
musk of skill.
Like what is the HP on that, and how much life does that take off?
How much mana do you need?
Is it a D12 roll?
like a mana.
Well, okay, what if I cast
You have to tap 9.
what if I cast a musk of skill and I
What?
roll a 20?
hold on. This is insulting. On 2 levels. First level, I'm not the only person who's played D&D here before.
But I feel like
Professor
you're the
Brandon
most,
has also played D&D here.
Hello.
I feel like you're the most knowledgeable. though.
Also, 2, no man, that shit bullshit.
So,
musk of
Coach Ricky. So I have a legit D&D question for you.
Okay.
Hold on.
What? Now we got to be realistic here, okay? So what spell, as a spellcaster, because I know you are, what spell
Level 12.
would help you most in a jiu-jitsu match? And it can't be something ridiculous like control the weather or something. You could say like invisibility, or maybe you could say, I know you like spike growth,
Spike growth is pretty good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
No, this is a common spell in a bunch of games.
Haste.
Hey.
Man, look at that. Great minds think alike. What?
Man.
Because this is what happens. Your speed is doubled.
Yeah, haste is
Right?
fast.
You have advantage on deck saving throws, which means like you're never gonna fall. Your armor
You're fucking
class,
serious, too.
Your
I
armor
can tell.
class is increased by 2,
Mhm.
Wow.
and
Damn, son.
on top of that, you get an extra action. Right?
Why are you sweating, Coach Ricky?
So that's like a guard
He's
pass
getting all
and a
hot and
submission
heavy.
attempt.
damn.
Or possibly like a sweep and a pass attempt.
Yes.
So
That's double action.
That's like a pass them out, man. That's like a 7-point roll right there.
So I play D&D 5th edition. Back in 1st edition, the spell haste.
There's more than one edition.
Yes,
Obviously.
the spell haste
It's like the Bible.
would
Hey, I
take
wouldn't know.
life.
Cold.
Would take years off your
God
life.
damn.
That's how powerful it was.
Because it's real. This is a little bit of a side note. It's not a D&D spell. It is a comic book character. I forget his name. I think his name was Stryker. But there was a
Is this
character.
Mortal Kombat?
No, this is Marvel Comics. He was a character in the X-Men comics. He wasn't an X-Men. He was like from the future or something.
X-Force, X-Factor, something like that.
No, it was X-Men.
Could be in a
Okay.
different team.
I said that pretty clearly. No, Oliver. He wasn't an X-Man. He was like somebody in the comic, but he
Colonel
wasn't part of the
Stryker?
team.
Okay.
I think his name was Stryker, but I'm not sure. It's different than the movies.
Different color eyeballs.
Yeah, but it's different than the movies.
Okay.
So his power was he could see 3 seconds in the future,
Oh, it's a good power.
right? But when I read that as a kid, I was like, what a fucking joke. Who gives a shit if you
Oh my
can
God.
see 3 seconds
That
into
would
the
be
future?
amazing.
That's all you
He was
need.
a bad guy, though,
And then
right?
my older brother, Clay, he broke it down for me. Like so many things that he did in life. He broke it down for me. He said, look, man, that's like really badass. So you can never be surprised ever. If you get into a fight, you know exactly what somebody's going to do. 3 seconds is long enough that you can like counter everything. And I was like, holy shit.
From a fighting standpoint, that's amazing.
Yeah, you always have initiative from a D&D standpoint. There's no initiative roll.
There's another spell that I think kind of accomplishes the same thing,
He's
but
getting
it's
deep.
on your opponent. It's a spell called Slow.
So busting out some dice right
it
now.
reduces your
He actually
opponent.
has a spell book in his hands, ladies and gentlemen.
It
It's
reduces
called a
your-
grimoire.
That shit's dusty. That shit's fucking.
I'm about to summon some dead people. I'm talking shit.
If I
Are we
was
getting
gonna,
necromancy now?
if
we
I was
getting
gonna
that deep?
cast
Hey,
one
hey,
spell,
Ricky, why don't you summon some beers? I want some tasty.
That's a great idea. Summon beer.
No. All right, Ricky.
Just
Look,
because of that.
Ricky.
No.
We
Ricky,
need a spell called Ripen.
Nice
I'm gonna be
comeback,
honest
Ricky.
with
Nice
you.
comeback.
we're gonna have to bypass a little bit of the D&D.
thank you.
But
Whoa.
but
Let's get deep on role playing. I'll talk about
no.
MERP. That's Middle Earth role playing game.
Episode 5, episode 6. I want to have a special edition, Ricky edition. But we also want to hear a couple more.
What's in the
Oh,
What? Well,
hold up. Hang on. We need to have one edition that's just Ricky on the mic. That's it.
What was the last question
Jeez.
that we were? What's
No,
in the
okay,
box?
yeah. We'll still need to finish up. It was
When is it okay?
when is it acceptable to
Oh,
decline
yeah,
to roll with
yeah,
someone?
that was a good one.
Dude, I will flat out just decline to roll with people for whatever fucking reason.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm an asshole.
That's not true, Professor. That's not
I
true.
will if I have. A
Yeah,
legit-
okay,
so
but hang on. You're making it sound like you're telling people no left and right. That's
No,
not true.
That's not true.
That's
I
not
train,
true.
I train with everybody, but
Exactly.
if I'm injured and I have I'll say the inkling, this person is a spaz.
Yes.
Right? I will decline. Right? If I'm getting ready for a competition and I feel like I need to be pushed a little more,
Yeah.
I will decline. Right? So there's a couple reasons why I will decline. However, I also kind of feel like some of this goes along with me being a black belt.
Yeah, I was about to say, a
I feel
little
like my
asterisk
answers might be
there.
a little different if I was a colored belt.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, we should make it clear that even though most schools don't, nobody ever talks about this. This is how it is. Most of the times, I'm not going to say it's disrespectful. It is frowned upon for a lower belt to ask upper belt to train.
Right.
It can be seen as a challenge. Now, at some schools that doesn't apply, but a lot of times it's just it's not very appropriate to do that. That's kind of an old school rule. I come up like that, and I typically don't ask upper belts to roll. I'll ask lower belts, but in general, you should try to train with as many people as you can. Because you can create a habit of not training with tough training partners. And that's the real issue.
Oh no, you need to seek out the tough
That's
people.
right. So
See,
let's not get confused about
No,
that.
that's my issue. Some of the times,
That's what I was trying to say,
is that,
Professor.
like I am planning to train with so and so, who I know is trains all the time, competes all the time,
Yes.
very skilled. I need to be pushed. Like, I'm not
Yes.
sweating yet. You know what I mean? So I might decline in this sense, but no, you should always seek out your tougher training partners. I did not mean it in that sense.
No, that's
And
a
you
good
know,
point.
jiu-jitsu is about self-defense. So when you train with somebody who's a bit crazy, you know, think of it as like a self-defense situation. Your goal is to survive.
Don't let them close the distance.
Don't let them close the distance.
One of the most valuable things you told me about training, and this goes to stand-up training, not comedy, is that
It's good stand up.
is that I think I told you, and I was like, man, I really like training with you and with some of the other people that we have at the gym that are very that have judoka backgrounds.
Oh, you got to deal with awkward people.
Yes, you told me you were like, not you have to. Most people in jiu-jitsu will not move the way they should.
That's right.
Because they're all funky.
They don't train.
They don't train. They train takedown all funky. So I think I told you, I was like, man, I really like training with you because you give the traditional like grip fighting response and all that, and you're like, man, you have to train with the other people because most people are going to be all funky.
You're going to encounter many more awkward people than you will smooth people.
Yeah. That was a valuable lesson.
That's a good answer. Good answer. And we learned something from that. What about you, Coach Ricky? What's give us one good reason for a good option not
Coach
to train
Ricky
with
never
someone?
says no.
Yeah,
He has the spell book out, by the way.
It's called a grimoire.
I never say no.
Thank you. Thank you, Austin.
If I am put in front of someone, like it's
Murder.
for a reason.
Murder.
He actually has mandrake root.
The
by his feet.
professors in the class know what's going on, right? So I know that there is at least one professor there that sees me
That's a great
about
point.
to go with that person.
Yeah, that's a great
if
point.
they don't do anything, then who am I to be like, I don't want to?
That is a great point.
That's a great point. We are blessed to have a great general at our lead.
Oh, extraordinary.
And we do what he says. So if he tells me to go with the same person 5 times, that's what I'm going to do. If he tells me to go with whoever, that's what I'm going to do because he knows what's best for me. So most of the time, we are lucky enough to be guided by a great general.
Well, and that goes back to the question we had earlier about the Michael C. As long as he trusts his instructor,
Michael C. Jared?
Michael C. Jared.
No, Michael C.
Great
Jared.
memory, man.
You got to trust your professor. You know what I mean? And Coach
Smart.
Ricky, that's a great point. Even though sometimes it looks like the instructor's just on the side talking, what happens on that mat goes unnoticed by nobody. We are paying attention. We are watching, and that's a great point you made. Yeah, we're
about you.
When we see like legit inappropriate matchups, I will change them. Professor will change them. Professor Berto will change them. Coach Ricky's going to change them. We pay attention to that stuff. We know who the bad partners are, and we don't match them up. So that's a great point, actually.
Coach Austin.
So
out
I
here on
have
this
turned
one.
down training one time on one occasion with one human being.
Because he had a better beard than you.
No, impossible. And
I believe that. I
and
100%
so
believe that.
so I was training with him, and he started pulling on my fingers, and so I didn't like that. And so I switched to De La Hiva, and this fucking guy literally
Pulled on your toes?
started pulling on my toe.
That's
Man.
awesome.
That's fucking
and I was
Man.
like, this is commitment to being a dickhole.
At least he's got a game
Oh
plan.
man! And so I've been mad about this. Professor Berto will tell you, I've been mad about this for like a year.
Is this still
now.
someone that
Yeah.
that frequents?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they give me good advice.
Lower
they
belt
say, hey,
or
man,
higher belt?
like just get over it,
Is this a lower belt or higher belt?
Yeah, lower.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh, you fucking dickhole. So then, then I got matched up with this guy, and we start training, and so he starts grabbing my fingers, and I was like, tap, I'm going back to the line. Good job, buddy. You've won with the finger submission of the year.
Yeah.
I'll never train with this fucking guy again.
Yeah.
I'll skip him.
Yeah, but
push the guy in
you
front of
can't do that, man.
You should just give him the finger each time.
You know
should be
what?
Like,
You-
this
you-
one,
my
don't
fingers.
grab
You-
these.
I agree. You need your fingers. You need to approach it like a self-defense
'em know.
situation,
Yeah.
and
So
you
I'm gonna
need to
shiv
deal
him.
with it, right?
just gonna shiv him up
you
real
can
good.
definitely mention to them, hey, it is illegal to grab people's individual fingers.
Right.
You can remind people
He
of the
knows.
rules.
He knows that.
It is not illegal to grab all of the fingers.
No.
That is the hand.
Four
Yeah, you
fingers.
can grab-
Four
you can
fingers.
grab
No, that's
the
what I said. You
knuckle
can't. It's illegal to
Grab
grab
the knuckle
individual
line.
fingers.
Yeah.
I was clear about that.
Individual toes,
you-
Professor.
You can grab. You can grab
Individual
all 4
toe.
fingers.
Was it the pinky toe
But at
or the
no
fat
point-
toe? Because if it's a
Can
fat
you
toe,
try
I
to,
might
like,
take it for a
finger
little
lock
bit.
grab
the
my
person.
ring toe and my
Was
pinky
he
toe.
saying this little piggy when he was grabbing your
No.
toes?
Hey,
No.
little
Yeah,
funny
maybe he's just
side
telling
note,
you a
guys.
story,
It made
Austin.
me so mad.
I'm not going to say any names, but I was watching someone cinch up a triangle today, and instead of grabbing the ankle to kind of close it up with the foot on the hip to get the angle, they started grabbing on their own big toe.
That's legal.
He can grab his own.
No. It's 100% legal.
That's legal.
But it's one of those things. I was watching it, and my
sweet.
eye was twitching a bit, and I was kind of cringing because I'm like, motherfucker. They're like, who's going to grab their own toe and just start cranking it down to lock it in? Right?
Hey,
But
I got a question. What do you guys think about upper belts who? So you see people who are spazzy, and then they're purple belts, brown belts, and
Still
they're spazzy as
We talked
shit.
about this already.
Spazzy
talked
shit.
about
No,
this
I
episode
want to
two.
clear it up.
Episode 2.
But
Yeah,
this is the
you
same
would
shit.
you would remember if you weren't drunk last time, Professor Allen.
Hey, how about this, Professor Allen? Go listen to episode 2. You can find us on. You can find us on
Let me-
YouTube.
let me
Just
go
so
get
the
it.
listeners
You have a
know,
really
Professor
good
Allen is
opinion on it,
not
actually,
happy
Alan.
about
Let
that
me go get
comment.
another beer. I'll be right back. All
Go
right.
grab yourself a beer. Go grab yourself a beer. We'll get this squared away.
Don't spill it on me.
All right, look. Here we go.
Don't spill it on me.
Next question. Well, this one's really a statement. I can't.
What's
wait
in
to
the
see it.
box?
What's in the box? We'll cover 2. This is really just a statement. Can't wait to see this hot eating challenge. We're gonna.
Oh shit!
Look.
I already have
I'm
this
ready.
shit planned out. I already have it planned out.
Spicy food eating challenge.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
Challenge is a
Gonna start-
stupid name.
We're gonna
You're
start-
stupid, man.
we're
Your
gonna
name is
start-
dumb.
We're gonna start shoveling
Your
hot
name is
coal in
dumb.
these
Your
fuckers'
name is
mouths.
dumb.
Whatever.
All right.
My name is
so,
classic.
So,
All right.
so
Your name.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about the hot challenge.
So-
Basically, what we're saying is, once we get all our video equipment set up, we've got some things in the works right now. We got some irons in
It's
the.
already set up.
We got
so-
some irons in the fires getting hot for this taste challenge.
Man,
White
I'll tell you,
hot. I'm ready.
someone's gonna give up. Someone's gonna give
Not
up.
me.
Is the food made by Jay-Z?
Fuck the food.
Oh man!
shit.
The rapper?
Oh,
Ricky.
Jordan,
Oh,
putting this out to
shit,
you, buddy.
Ricky.
If you would like to help sponsor the Fifth Stripe hot food, spicy food eating contest,
Let's do it, man. I will
Let's-
crush Ricky.
So
Shit.
He's got nothing.
Quick little insight. Jordan from the Jay-Z. What's it called, Oliver?
Preps by Jay
by
Z.
Jay-Z.
Find him on
Preps by
Facebook
Jay-Z.
at Preps by Jay Z
Until he
or on
gets
the
a
gram
cease
at
and desist,
Bicep
like
Guy.
in 5, 4, 3, 2.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's Jay Z, not JAYZ.
Do you think that matters?
It does?
Yeah.
man.
So
You're allowed to have
No, it
initials. Yeah, probably not.
No,
Right?
Starbucks beer got shut down by Starbucks.
What are you,
That's
a
how close it
fucking
has to be,
lawyer?
Yes.
Oh fuck! All right, continue, Ricky. Get into this.
So I know Jordan since I was 18. I remember I met him with a different group of friends at a house party one time.
Was Kid and Play there? Were they doing that sweet ass dance where they
That
locked
was a
their
good
legs?
Who's
movie,
Kid
by the
Play?
way. Good
Who's Kid
movie.
Play?
Great movie.
Who's that? I don't know what that is.
Continue with
Either
the story,
way.
Coach Ricky.
I-
That is
way.
like a 90s rap duo.
Old people.
Did you watch the movie?
No, I wasn't into Kid and Play.
1 through 3.
He made like 3 movies now.
Ricky.
Either way, so Jordan and I remember us meeting and we would kind of talk. I did not want to really be. I did not want to go to the party like over and over again. This was kind of like a house that people would go to all the time, but a lot of my friends would go, and then over time I made new friends there, and I found myself kind of going to this same house party every week.
Was it
And-
Kid and Play?
No,
God
not-
damn, come on.
but Jordan was there every week, and it's cool to see him now have this food sponsorship. He's a hustler, man. He's really trying to push
Every day I'm
everything.
hustling.
Yeah, so I've not tried his product yet, but I could tell you that it's good.
Well,
just
I
because
have.
I know
Big
his
Rick.
work
I
ethic.
have, and it's
Fake.
amazing.
Motherfucking Rick.
Jordan, if you want to put on this spicy food contest,
Man, we're gonna hit you
I already
up,
got
buddy.
it planned out. You guys are done.
We're gonna hit you up, Jordan.
One of you guys are gonna be happy, and one of you guys aren't.
We're gonna hit you up, Jordan. We're gonna hit you up, Jordan.
All right, stop what you're doing.
I need a beer.
By Amazon the side.
Man, we got a.
What's
Austin,
the next one?
Austin having a flashback.
Next
over
question.
Here. All right. This one, I'm gonna read, but I'm just gonna caveat. I'm just gonna throw out an answer. We're
Free
gonna get
ball
to
it.
It says general rules white belts should know when they first walk in. Specifically, how to show respect, what is acceptable and not acceptable. We'll start this up. First off, if you train at a Gracie Baja, we have class rules and etiquette posted on the wall.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure most academies should have a
Yeah.
class rules
Yep.
and etiquette posted on the wall. Most of them will consist of, the hygiene that we spoke about earlier, bowing.
Knowing graduation order, that's
20
always key.
rules. There's 20
you know what?
rules.
Not a lot I've learned that not a whole lot of schools do the graduation or anything. I think most do, but there are quite a few that don't.
But a lot of the rules are common sense.
Yeah.
It really is. No,
Yes.
it is common sense, and that's the thing.
You know what I tell new students? I say
being
this:
an asshole.
if it's a kid, I say, hey, if you can't do it at your school, you can't do it here. And for adults, I say, if you can't do it at work, you can't do it here. So that's a good general rule. And also, too,
What if you're an adult film star?
Yeah, what if they work at Heartbreakers?
get the fuck out of here. So also, too, like you need to think about this too. One of the most important things is if you're new into a class, the best thing you can do is just copy everybody else.
Yeah. And
You know, just do what everyone else is
Watch and
doing.
learn.
yeah, don't go overboard too. Don't try.
Yeah.
Don't go out of your way to try to impress people. I mean,
No, just copy what
just-
everyone else is doing, man.
just like for lack of a better term, just fall in line, man. Like
There's-
it'll
I
come
think there's
natural.
20 rules. I think
Yeah,
there's
it's
20
not tough.
rules. I would like to propose a 21st rule. It's very easy.
What is that?
Don't grab people's fucking toes.
That's
While they're
true.
doing belly heat.
You should also learn like how to address your coach.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's coach, sometimes it's professor, sometimes it's Brad.
Yeah.
Just learn. Just ask him how should I
Definitely, like you said.
address
so-
you. You know what I mean?
A general rule in etiquette for jiu-jitsu is that you address a black belt as professor. However, any other rank that is instructing, you just address them as coach. So most of the time you'll see like a brown belt, maybe a purple belt coaching.
Yeah.
This does not mean you have to call every single brown belt or purple belt coach.
No.
No, you just, the ones that are instructing.
But if they're running the class,
yeah, if,
Right, right.
if they're running the class, you address them as coach, but every black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Is a
regardless if they're running the class or not, you address as professor. Aside from that, like Coach Ricky said, all the etiquette is pretty common sense.
Absolutely.
Like, don't stink.
Don't punch people.
wear
Don't
clean
punch
clothes. Oh, don't slam. By the way, I think that's a common thing. people
Yep, that's a
maybe
big-
little,
yep.
a little iffy on because of the MMA factor. Do not slam people.
So,
all right,
I
this
kinda-
does not mean that the slam negates jujitsu. There's plenty of things we can do if people are slamming. However, don't fucking slam people.
Oh
It's not
man,
nice.
if I could have slammed you,
Yeah.
you would have been toast.
You know what really I hate is when somebody hits you and they don't realize they hit you, and then they hit you again, and it's like, what y'all do? What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, it's like his fucking toe thing. It's like, all right, you fucking headbutting me. My eyes are fucking watery. Okay, I'll take it. I'm not stopping. Bam, again. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
But,
You know what I mean?
but my thing, it's intent. If they're coming in to do like a pass, like
No, it's
head-
not intent.
But that's
They
what I'm
just
saying.
can't realize.
But that's your role as a professor, as a black belt.
Of
to be like,
course,
hey
of
man,
course.
like calm yourself down a little bit. You know, you're going. a
Well,
little too head
I'll say one
first.
thing about that, and this kind of goes into something we wanted to talk about later on in the show about. Sometimes we're pretty hard on the white belts in these episodes.
I think this is a good time to get into this. Let's do
And
this. Let's
one
do
thing
this.
that we wanted to talk about was like some of the dumb white belt mistakes that we made, because we all made them. But what Professor Allen said and Austin said, sometimes you hit people and you don't know about it. Other times you hit people and you do know about it. So I've had several situations that are quite embarrassing for me. And I'll just tell you about one of them. Everybody kind of gets frustrated or loses control from time to time. So I was training no gi, and I was standing up. My partner, who I think he was a white belt, probably. I was already a black belt at this point. And I was standing up. He was on his knees. He was on his back. Like I was passing his guard. And we kind of like separated. So I was approaching his guard, and he straight up kicked me in the knee. Like not pushed me away. He just kicked me in the knee. And then I backed up, and I was like, I just kind of ignored it. And I kind of went into approach again. He kicked me in the knee, like full on, like MMA kicked me in the knee. So I backed up, and I like Muay Thai kicked him like Sakuraba versus Hoyle Gracie in the leg. And I said, stop kicking me. You know what I mean?
and
And
then
then,
John Jones you though.
yeah. And then he looked at me all crazy. And then I realized, okay,
he doesn't know what he's doing.
he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So immediately I was like, look, I'm sorry. I kicked you. I shouldn't have done that. But like, why were you kicking me in my knee, man? And he's like, oh, I was just trying to push you away. I was like, no, you weren't trying to push me away. You were straight up kicking me. You could have blew my knee out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody loses control from time to time, but we need to realize when you do that. And if you do it, you need to apologize and accept it. And I did. And I definitely apologized to him. And interesting enough, about 3 months later, he called the gym just as I was leaving, and he goes, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm leaving. He goes, man, I am stuck in the parking lot of this place. I locked my keys in my car. Can you bring me a coat hanger? I brought him a coat hanger. We got his keys out of the car, and he said, hey, man, what do I owe you? And I said, all you got to do is
Wait for it.
we're even for when I Muay Thai kicked you in the leg. And he said, deal.
Nice.
So now we're square.
Cool.
There you go.
You don't kick in
Square,
anymore, right?
It all worked out, man.
All right, Alan. What about you? Tell us your funny white belt
Man,
story. What you did with as a white belt or had.
Oh, I have another white belt story. That was
you a white
black
belt
belt
in that
story.
story,
But no, I was a black belt.
Now go ahead.
That was just about losing
Give your
control.
white
No,
belt.
we'll go to Professor Allen. I'll come back to my white belt
Did
story.
a white belt do this to you?
A white belt did do it to
Oh,
me.
well, that counts. That's a white belt.
So
Yeah,
Oliver,
but that's still me hating on the white belt.
so what do you mean? A white belt story that I've what?
Look, we're sticking to one. Either something that you did dumb as a white belt or something that a white belt had done to you that you had to correct.
No. This is about dumb things that we did as white belts.
Oh.
But you just told a black.
That was a different story. I'm going to tell another one about me being a dumb white
We went
belt.
off topic to come
So,
back.
no.
No, that was because Professor Allen was talking about people kicking you and not knowing it.
Brandon
Yeah.
suggested a topic and was like,
We went off topic. a
fuck
little bit.
that. Let me
Let's
tell
go
you about
off
this other
topic.
topic I didn't
So
bring
Professor
up.
Allen, tell your white belt story.
Man, I remember once as a white belt, I was training in I'm kind of sort of embarrassed about this. I was training in Puerto Rico and it was with a black belt.
Don't be embarrassed about it.
and-
Puerto Rico is a very legitimate
No,
place.
no, it's not that. It's so the black belt had broken his nose, and he's gonna hear this, right? It had broken his nose, and he was kind of hurt.
Was he wearing that face
He was
mask?
wearing the clear,
Yes.
the Detroit Piston guy,
Yeah.
the face
Yeah.
mask.
Michael Myers.
And and I'm trying to pass, and the classic white belt pass is where you go grab both over on, and it's a good guard pass over, and you try to walk. You grab both legs and you walk over.
Right.
But I kept like shouldering him, like hitting him in the
In his broken nose.
in the broken nose. Of course, I'm not realizing this. So he hits me, like, "Hey, stop it!" I'm like, "What the fuck?"
What do you mean he hits you? Like he punches you?
Like
or
he
what?
kind of like roughs me up, but I'm still trying to pass the guard.
He shoulders
He's
you
like,
back.
"Hey, stop doing this." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not doing anything."
Yeah.
So I keep going, and I hit him again. Like I keep trying to pass. This dude straight up like shoulder punches me, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? But realizing now till today, I was pushing the buttons. I was hitting him, And so sometimes we don't realize, people don't realize what they're doing or the things they're doing wrong. And I felt like shit, man. It's not a good feeling, right? And it's like I can train with Professor Brandon. Like when we train wrestling, sometimes he'll get a little aggressive and he'll kind of like club me. So I club back.
You club back.
I club back, right?
But we know each other.
But we both understand.
Yeah.
But your black belts.
We both, aside from that, we both understand it's there. It's ending right there.
And it's not we don't do anything inappropriate.
Yeah.
We never punch each other. We don't slap each other. A lot of people don't realize it is perfectly legal to shove and push people hard.
That's not ballet, right?
It's
like
not.
you said.
Yeah, it's not ballet. And so people get upset if you shove somebody. That is 100% legal. Professor Berta, what's your white belt story?
White belt story.
Oh, snap. White belt
Should we come
story.
back to you? You got one going?
No, I got one to go on. So my white belt story is a success story, I guess.
No, it's got to be a dumb white belt story. Can't be a success story. It's got to be a failure.
But bro, he's so good.
Coach
He
Ricky.
never fails.
What's yours?
We'll come back to you.
I was like,
Okay, I have a white belt story.
Ricky,
that-
put away your book.
I have a white belt story that is okay. Professor Drac runs the school, and his wife runs the business side,
Okay.
right? And
That's why
so,
people cut you off.
whenever
Speak a little faster, please.
Yeah. fucking
God damn, I'm already drunk and I haven't even
You
drunk.
know what's happening.
so
So there's this thing called jujitsu.
Coach Ricky, just ignore them. Keep talking. You're
Yeah,
doing great.
so-
I think you're doing great.
there was one class that I think it was a teens class. I wasn't in it, obviously. I was waiting for my class to start, and Miss Monica, this Professor Drac's wife, she sat next to me, and I just started chatting with her. It was really friendly.
Start chatting up Drax's wife.
And no.
Not smart.
No, I had my card, right? And I was due for the blue belt. And I remember I was like, hey, isn't this the minimum requirement for the blue belt?
You said this to his wife?
Yeah.
Like, what is she gonna do?
No,
She's gonna laugh and.
Did you think she was gonna pull out a blue belt and hand it to you out of her purse?
No, but
Oh, I got one right here.
And looking back on it now, it was close to the Houston Open, and he was holding me out for that tournament. But
Is that what he told you?
no, because I got my belt the day after the Houston Open. The Houston Open was on Saturday. I got my blue belt on Monday.
Better thank Professor Brandon for that.
But whenever I look back on it now, I'm like, I was such an idiot. just being like, yeah, isn't the blue belt supposed to come around this time? Like, and it just totally, I'm so embarrassed for that, and I feel so dumb. The point of the story is, do not worry about when you're going to get your
Don't
next.
ask about your belts.
Don't ask
about your
That's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
don't do that.
Professor Bird, did you think of one?
Yeah. So okay, my dumbest moment as a white belt was when I signed up at the school. I had already been training for about a year.
I was gonna say you're only a white belt for about a month, right? You got a triple promotion. You got 3 stripes on that first
I
one.
was a white belt for 4 months technically, but I mean it was like a year and 4 months.
Yeah, I
because
remember you had
trained for
previous
a year
experience coming into the
previously.
school.
Yeah, so I remember I signed up, and Professor Draculino was very graceful, and he let me sign up into the advanced program, even though I did not train in the fundamentals for the allotted amount of time. I've been training
Felt
for a
sorry
while,
for you.
so he saw me training. He saw I could do pretty well, right? And so double, single, these are things I was pretty good at. And then I get into my first advanced class, and I get paired up with somebody, and the technique is like it's a very judo style takedown, right? I think it was like a drop seoi or maybe a ouchigari, something that had to do with a little bit of footwork and then a trip or something like
Yeah,
that.
little coordination.
And I got paired up with a purple belt, right? And I could not get the movement down, and he just looked at me with this look of like, you're in the fucking advanced
Who
class.
are
It
you?
was like this look of disdain.
Who let you in
that
here?
was like, this is the most simple shit for me. Like, how are you having trouble with this? And like, I got the most look of like, what the fuck are you doing here?
You made Professor question himself, huh?
Yeah, so I was like, man, I'm sorry. I've never. I just got real weird about it, but it was just the movements I wasn't used to. And stuff
Yeah.
But I felt really awkward because I couldn't get the movement down.
Yeah.
And then, like, I just felt bad, even though it was my training time. Like, my partner just kind of sat there and was like, you're moving like an idiot.
But I guess what you're trying to say is that, like, don't be ashamed to not know.
Don't put words in my mouth.
He didn't say that. That's not what he said.
That's why.
Be ashamed,
That-
guys.
That's why you're the younger brother. It has nothing to do with birthdays. That's just.
What
why.
about you, Austin? What's your white belt story?
Oh, so many.
Well, just tell us one.
Pick a good one.
Okay.
Get close to the mic there, buddy.
All right. So
You're too chill over there with those glasses, man. You got the California stuff.
So we had a lot of these. We had a lot of these oil field people
Roughnecks.
at the gym in Corpus Christi, because I came to GB Texas as a blue belt, right? I got my blue belt in Corpus.
They're not guard poolers,
I
right?
used
They're
to
on
live out in
top.
Corpus, man. Little side
Yeah.
note. I was a Bluff kid. I was out
It
in Flower
was
Bluff.
gnarly, man.
Yeah, don't judge me.
And so there was this one chick that was 6'3",
Oh,
like 185 pounds, covered, like tattooed up like a couple of guys in the class.
she's
you
still
know?
training?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's a purple
shit.
belt. Yeah. But I mean, hand tattoos and the whole deal.
Oh, she's
I'll
all
put it-
in.
I want to see who
Yeah.
this is. Can you pull her up?
Yeah. No, I don't think she
You
has
got her on
social
the gram.
media. We're not friends on social media.
Her name's like David.
I don't know her name. Yeah. I don't know her name.
Oh, it's- Okay, okay.
Gary.
She,
It's Gary.
Gary
so
C. Smith.
She, man, she like, I mean, she was bigger than me. And we used to have these fucking wars, dude. We used to go to war. Professor would put me
Oh,
up against
shit.
her, and it would be stand up, and both of us are like no stripe white belts. And it was like when you see the kids and they're just like shoving each other. And
that dance around the back.
yeah, and so finally, like one day, like I get the hook around the leg. I don't know if this is Osoto maybe or something, but yeah. So I have collars, and I get the leg around, and I start to push her backwards over the leg.
Yep.
And so I get her down on the ground, and so she puts her feet up,
Okay.
and I try to go around
That's
the left
called the
side.
guard.
What?
That's called the guard.
Well, it became the guard.
Okay.
It became,
Right.
He
Yeah.
developed this technique,
Yeah.
which eventually became the
So,
guard.
Okay.
but I got the takedown, right? Because
Yep.
she stayed on the ground and I was on my feet.
Is that the
Okay.
person you punched?
No.
Oh no.
So I tried to run around to the right and she stuck her foot out and stopped me,
Okay.
from getting around.
Yeah.
And so then I tried to run around to the left and she stuck her foot out and she stopped me. And so I hear my friend Robert from across the room. He's like, "Hey man, you have to pass the guard." And I was like,
Water.
"Oh, what the fuck does that mean?
What is the guard? What is the guard?
What do you mean?" And he's like, "You have to get past her legs."
Is that it?
That's all.
Wow.
Man,
I'm doing pretty good right now, bro. She's on her back.
I thought you were
I'm
gonna
on
tell
my
me
feet.
you power bombed her or some shit. Right?
That's what I thought.
I had two
Or
stripes
you like
on my,
you like cartwheel past
Bro,
her
I
and
had
kneed her in
two
the face or
stripes on my
something.
white belt, and I didn't know what a guard was.
You got to admit the power bomb
Yeah,
is
it
a
was
classic
bad, bro.
white belt move.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, you were in the advanced program.
And 2
Oh,
days
shit.
later,
Well, I don't know if I was a white belt when this happened or if I was a blue belt, maybe. But somebody had told me that I should. They had told me about a great athlete in our sport, Professor Jean-Jacques Machado, who was legendary.
Legend.
And he had a DVD set out at the time, which is still like one of the best DVD. It's very, very good. I highly
What's it
recommend
called?
it. Man, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like Heart of a Champion or something. It's good. It's like a 5 DVD set. I actually have it. It's really, really good. It's very insightful. And even like now, maybe it's a little bit more tame, but back then it was kind of like some new cutting edge stuff. Anyways, I was watching it, and so the point of this story is my dumb white belt move was my ridiculous arrogance. I just thought like I knew everything. And so I saw him do an arm lock, but instead of putting his leg, like a traditional cross arm lock, the guy, both people are on their back. Instead of putting his leg over the guy's face, okay, he had his leg under the head and his feet locked on top of the shoulder.
Almost
So-
like a triangle lock.
Yeah, kind of like a triangle, but they were both flat.
Right.
So you can still stretch the guy's arm. You still have his body controlled. You can still engage your hip. It's totally fine.
You had that top leg coming over.
Yeah, instead of the leg being on top of the face, it was he had it under the head, hooked on the shoulder. Totally legit, right?
Yeah. That's a good
And-
control.
Yeah, so when I saw this, I just tuned out right away. I was like, who is this guy? He doesn't even know how to do an arm lock. And,
Watching the JJ.
yeah. So then I went back to my friend later, and he goes, "Hey man, did you watch that DVD I gave you?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, but like I quit watching it after like the first move."
Meant that to me.
And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Well, dude, the guy couldn't even do an arm lock. So what am I going to learn from this guy? He can't even do an arm lock." And I mean, just the level of ridiculousness in that statement and the level of arrogance that I had was just completely ridiculous. And that's just one of many stories of how I was one of the worst white belts of all time. So I know we're hard on the white belts here, but look, we're trying to help you. We're trying to give you some insight. And we have all been completely ridiculous
Oh my
white
God.
belts.
We all started out there. We've all been there. We've all been laughed at. We're trying
Oliver,
to
what's
give you
your
our
story?
experience.
What's your white belt story?
Man, I got one that actually kind of involves you, Professor Brandon.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, me.
Let me
too,
guess. I was
question
an
mark.
asshole.
No,
No, we're not talking about everyday affairs.
That's so hilarious.
You were very insightful.
It's so cliche to call me an
Well,
asshole.
he's
now.
toned down a lot. I mean, you're not the same as before.
First
right?
of all, I always had a great heart.
Yeah,
Alan, you never knew.
but you know what?
First of all, it always came from a good place.
I had a rough start, but
Brandon's a bit weird like that.
You have no. idea.
You have no idea. Look, I'm going to explain Brandon to you
Asking
in one of
Professor
our
Brandon
Well, it's
later
Professor
questions.
Brandon,
old
so-
man by the collar.
Not on the podcast. It's not.
I love that. That's great.
So,
Drag an old man by the collar.
I'll still do that.
because He is deaf and couldn't hear you.
He should
sorry,
move.
what?
He should rotate.
so, yeah, my
that is a pet peeve, though. That shit's annoying.
He should
what?
rotate.
What? Deaf people? You need to calm down. man. That's
No,
offensive.
it's
Deaf people are annoying.
Shit.
Learn to hear.
Thank you, Coach Riggy.
All
Why
right,
don't you learn to hear?
Luckily, we're sure that no deaf people are listening to the podcast.
Look,
right now.
Oh shit! Why don't
That's
you?
actually
Why
true.
don't you play a spell so they
Look, if you-
I'm not
if
even
you
gonna say.
If you have any
Jacqueline,
complaints,
Professor Allen, it's cast a spell, not play a spell. Come correct.
if any
Come
That's how you know I don't play.
if
Come
any
correct.
people in the hearing impaired community have complaints, feel free to send them to Thick Rick.
my God.
Let me
at
just say
his
this:
Instagram.
if any deaf person is reading this podcast transcript through Braille,
Closed
fuck
captions
off.
impaired.
That's
We didn't
blindness.
say they're blind. Wait a minute, we didn't say they're blind, Professor. We just said they're deaf.
Hold on. So, hey, you know what?
Well,
I think we
hang
should just
on.
end this.
but
I think we should just end this.
a blind person could still read Braille. They don't need to, or I mean, a deaf person.
Hey, but you know what's fucked up? I was with them. I'm like, no, you're fucking
Yeah,
right.
you were.
Yeah, you guys couldn't see this over there on that end, but Alan over his eyes got big and he was like, "Oh shit, man!"
Professor Berto had to get up and leave the table. He's laughing so hard.
All right, so yeah, my
He's loving.
If Helen Keller is listening,
He's loving it.
Yeah.
fuck you.
He's fuck
oh
you.
man, I've got a horrible.
All right, come on, Twist. What's your story?
All right, so yeah, my
Calm
white
down,
belt
Professor
story
Berto.
with that involves Professor Brandon. I was YouTubing and I got lost in the wormhole of jujitsu of what it
mistake.
is.
That's
and
a
I was
first strike
like,
against you.
Oh, it absolutely was. But you know what? As a white belt, what do you know, right? So I learned a pretty sick ass move that I was like, man, I'm gonna bring this to class.
What was it?
Oil check.
It was kind of, it was a choke from, I don't know what you'd call the grip when you pass the hand over. You have it behind, a cross face, and you control the wrist.
Bravo grip.
They're basically trapped like this. Okay. So they're trapped, and you basically
What, Cobra
Then you
choke?
swing them like a
you
rag
basically
doll.
slide your arm in, and it's almost like a
Is it a problem?
a choke, but you
Yeah, it doesn't
slide
really
in.
work.
It really didn't. So, but I got it to work on someone who had a stripe less than me at a white belt level. So, I
You're
mean,
talking about the choke that doesn't work?
yeah, no, that's the one. No, it's not the one from the back. Not the one from the back that works.
Recently, no?
No.
Grab the real bag and put it over his head.
So I YouTubed the shit out of this. I rewatched it twice. It was a short video, and I was like, fuck. I've seen
I
it
got
twice.
it.
I've
I
got
got
this
it.
down,
I
right?
got it.
I mean, the mechanics are set. I'm an intelligent man. I mean, how could this go wrong? So I brought it to class one day. I think this kid just signed up 4 hours before, and I tapped him with it, and I was like,
Congratulations.
100% success rate, right?
Yeah.
So here we are. And then, so he asked me, he's like, bro, how'd you do that? How'd you set that up? So, as the senior by one stripe, I was like, I got you, fam. Let me show you how this happens. All right. Let me show you what you tap to.
you busted out the cell phone. You're like, you gotta
Oh
watch
no,
this video.
no! Hey, my confidence level was too high to include fucking props. All right, I ain't Carrot Top here, right? I got confidence.
Carrot Top is a legend.
Yeah, for prop comics.
Have you seen Carrot Top? He looks crazy.
Dude,
Jacked.
that fool is ripped like a fart.
Jack.
So here we are. I'm like, come here, white belt. Let me show you how this works. And I started showing him, and Professor Brandon, in all his wisdom, strolled over there with the confidence of a man of 1,000 years of wisdom. Showed up at
120 pounds.
120 pounds and enough gray hairs to match. Came over and was like, "What are you doing?"
I hate that.
And my response was, "I learned the sick ass choke from YouTube." And I got him with it as I raised one eyebrow like the fucking Rock, and I was like, "So I'm showing him." And Brandon, graciously enough, said,
I'm showing it.
Stop.
No. Graciously enough, said, "Carry on." Stood over me as I showed this white belt how to do this choke that has a success rate of probably 0.04%.
The
And-
guy he tapped with it is the only guy that's ever tapped to it.
No, I'm pretty sure it was that blind
That's the
guy we were
success
talking about
rate.
earlier.
That's the success
yeah,
rate.
No, it was good. It was really good. So Brandon let me go through this whole 2.5 minute YouTube recital of what I had seen to get this this choke processed, and right at the end of it, I think it was the second nicest thing he's ever said to me was, "That's stupid and it doesn't work. Don't do that."
That's good.
So this is a story about me being an asshole, not a story about you being a dumb white belt.
Look, I didn't say that.
both.
You did.
You were the
both.
reasonable one.
No,
in
I
that
feel
story.
like, see, ever since then, I've never told anybody what to do because
Yeah,
of fear
well,
of you being there.
That's
I'll
you
ask
shouldn't coach
Dorian
people
about
as a
that.
white belt.
You think Dorian will agree with that?
yeah, his game's better than mine already, bro. Like, obviously, he's not listening to me.
I did the technique like 4 times the right way tonight, and then Professor Brandon came and walked like 4 feet away from me, and then I did it wrong like 3 times in a row.
It's timing.
And I
That's
was
all
like,
it is.
well,
That's
this
not my
sucks.
fault.
That's all
I
it
mean,
is.
kind of.
I tell people good job when they do a good job.
I've never heard that.
You told me good job one time. And
Yeah,
3
so you
years
did a
of
good
training
job
at
one
Gracie's
time.
Law.
All right,
Pretty
guys.
great.
Hey, you know
I
what?
went home and cried.
We're
I
pushing
don't
some
lie.
time here. Let's get to the next question. I think we got some good ones. Let me see. General rules white belts should follow. Yeah, we know that one. We I feel like we covered
Is this
that in a lot
whole
of
show
stuff.
going to be what's in the box?
Man, I don't know. We got a
Apparently.
lot of intros, man. Or a lot of entries for it. So we'll get there. We'll close them out. We're almost done here. All right. This will be a quick answer for everybody. So we just want a quick answer, no stories. Let's get shit going. All right.
All right.
What's the grossest thing you've ever seen or done during BJJ training? Professor Brandon, go.
I saw a guy break his lower arm, and it looked like a cartoon character. Like his arm was like a zigzag, like a Z, like a zigzag.
Like olive oil.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was like, you know what it looked like. So you know when the cartoon, when the character like makes a muscle, but it falls down like wah, wah, the other way.
Yeah.
That's how his forearm was, and I saw that, and I was,
disgusting.
and the best part of it was he said, "I think my arm is broken," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
My fucking arm, my arm looks like a fucking
Man,
rude.
it was wrecked.
So what was the question again? Just
What's the grossest thing you've seen
He said it like 15 seconds ago.
or done during BJJ training?
I don't know if it would be considered gross, but I saw one of my coaches choke someone, and hold on to it. Like it's kind of crazy, you know?
That's
Like,
not gross. It's just rude
it's,
and possibly assault.
Battery.
it's kind of weird to see. It's kind of weird to see, but it's
You
Man.
trusting this guy, right? Yeah.
yeah. So it's like
You're like, hold me closer, not that close.
The guillotine's on. It's like the guy's tapping. He's like, I can't see it. Is it on?
Yeah, good old
Arm goes
gurgle
limp.
effect, right?
And that's it.
That's a good one. What
So-
about you, Professor Berta?
So mine goes back to my second tournament and Coach Ricky's first tournament. So my brother,
Stealing my story.
yeah, too bad.
Damn, son.
Graduation
Yeah,
order.
exactly.
order.
Graduation order.
Sorry. So I had already finished my gi division. My brother did not sign up for the gi division because he did not train in the gi. We just did no gi.
Sucker.
So we're sitting there watching my brother's division start, okay? And we see a match, okay? These guys are training. One of them slaps a triangle on. Instead of going for the triangle finish, he goes for the kimura inside of the triangle. So
Okay.
he immediately attacks the arm
Good
and,
double attack.
and goes like cranks with no regard. So before my brother's first match at his first ever tournament, he saw a guy in his division snap a guy's shoulder and collarbone like it sounded like the loudest firecracker I'd ever heard. This is the first time I've seen somebody's bone break like with somebody with the intention of bone breaking.
Yeah,
Like,
from a submission, not like a freak accident.
You know, not like a bicycle or a skateboard
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like,
So, quick
actual-
question. How'd you do on that tournament, Ricky?
he first place.
Fucking
Hey,
A.
first place.
Champions.
And he actually his first fight, correct me if I'm wrong, was that guy that broke the shoulder, right? So
Yeah.
my brother's like nervous, first tournament ever, never competed, doesn't belong to an academy, by the way. We're
Did
just
you
training
avenge
at
that guy?
Sanjak.
freelance.
We're training at Sanjak South Campus.
Unattached.
We're training
Freestyle MMA.
We're
we call that
We're training
unattached.
Single.
in the garage
Single
at
and ready to
LaPorte.
mingle.
So it's just like garage training once a week at Sanjak. He fucking won it.
Yeah,
But he won it after seeing a guy get his shoulder broken
By his opponent.
which is a pretty good gut check if you want to get one for your first tournament.
and,
So,
yet
sorry,
here he is.
sorry I stole your story. my
All right.
brother,
Coach
my
Ricky's
dear brother.
real.
Well, I'll get into mine real quick so we can give Coach Ricky an opportunity to come up with a good story. But mine actually doesn't involve jiu-jitsu, but it involves judo. I worked I worked a couple of the Houston Open judo tournaments a few years back.
I
when was
competed in
training,
those a bunch.
I know. Actually, that was the first time I met you.
Is it really?
Absolutely, and I've been stalking you ever since.
Yeah, I fought in those a bunch of times.
That's cool. That's cool. Anyway, good story.
Did you really meet me there?
Huh?
Did you really meet me there?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, it was in passing. I mean, it
He's
was
like, you didn't know me, but I just kept following.
yeah, you didn't know, but I was the guy that when you walked by, I was like,
Smell his hair.
the musk of skill. No, it was good. But no, so it was actually I
Cats of D12.
can't remember if it may have been 2010, maybe the year before that, but
I bet I was there.
you probably were. I saw a guy get choked out. Oh, actually, he they got grips. They were moving around. Guy went for a throw, didn't get the ippon on the throw, so they went to the ground to roll around for a little bit. Guy caught a choke. Guy wouldn't tap. and then guy's butthole decided to tap by releasing a lot of poopy doopy.
Yeah, that
with his
happens.
white gi.
So everybody who says like I don't tap, I'll just pass out. Just realize that is always a possibility. You will shit your pants.
My biggest fear in jiu-jitsu is not having a bone broken, bad, like splintered, destroyed. I don't care.
Man,
I do not
don't shit
want
yourself.
to shit myself.
You don't want to shit yourself.
Which, if you go back to episode, I think two. or maybe one. I think two.
I think it was two.
I realized that was like a very real thing that might have happened to me at the Third Coast Grappling. I'm happy it didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my biggest fears. It's shitting while
Look,
training.
For all the kids
I
out
mean,
there,
when you pass out.
if your academy offers black gis or brown gis, I'm just saying, come prepared if you're not going to tap. All right. I mean, play smart.
Invest.
With some
That's how it
heavy
is.
underwear.
Invest
right?
in your future.
Look. If your academy says you must train in a blue or white gi, you know what? Follow the academy rules. But come competition time, black
Get that
gi is not a
blue.
bad thing, man. Black
You know
that
what?
blue.
You know, a little bit of Pepto-Bismol before training ain't gonna hurt you. You know.
Austin,
Just
what's
take a
your
quick second.
story? Your
Austin,
grossest.
Give us some
It's
grosses.
related to that, right? It's on a
Excellent.
similar theme. Right?
Everybody loves poop talk. Let's do this.
I was in Corpus and I was training, and it was a Saturday class at 11. It was good, live training afterwards. Well, we had this really important seminar, right? This very skillful, very famous member of this very famous family was coming.
Was it the Van Dams?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
The
DVDs.
There was
Jacksons.
2 wooden chairs, you know, like the fucking
but,
split.
They were coming to this person was coming to give a seminar, and I thought, well, isn't this terrific? But I'd eaten a big breakfast, and so I went into the bathroom, and I was gonna use the restroom.
Release.
You're going to
for
drop
a
some weight
while
for a minute. Drop some
before
weight.
the seminar,
Cut some weight.
right? And so then I went in, but then so the facilities were not always well equipped and well stocked. And so I am a person that takes a look
this
around.
reminds me of a great story. Keep going.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
I took a look around and I noticed that, there was no toilet paper, right? Anywhere in the bathroom. And so I said, well, I guess this is just going to have to wait until later. After this 3-hour athletic seminar, I suppose I'll take care of it. No problem.
Today's subject,
So
neon
then
belly.
I'm in the bathroom.
all the while you're just percolating.
Yeah. So
Like you're like 2 millimeters
Yeah.
dilated.
so
You can't even escape the hip.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. So the guy giving the seminar, young guy, comes in, walks past me. I go, hey, and he's like, hey man, how you doing? And he walks into the stall and he drops his gi pants and he takes shit that fills the whole bathroom with the smell of shit.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like,
There's no toilet.
there's no toilet paper. There's none in the whole school. There isn't any.
Yeah.
There's none. And so then he gets up and he
Like
goes,
like a champion.
gets up
Shit.
Like a
and then
champion.
teaches a 3-hour seminar. Yeah.
He did-
and
he
the
did-
whole
that's
time
fucked
he's
up.
giving the seminar,
His
and I'm like,
asshole's got to be
this
so
motherfucker
itchy.
just ain't
He
on
did-
his
he-
ass.
Well, you don't know if he had socks on. Maybe
He may have had
sacrifice
socks
on.
True.
Maybe he had
That is
sacrificed
true.
a sock.
He may have.
That's
You don't
true.
know.
That's a great
He may have-
point.
You know,
He is a black belt.
Maybe
He's a black
that's
belt.
true.
Maybe he sacrificed to Ashcart. You know, you got
That's true.
sponsors.
Or his
Totally
underwear.
possible.
He could have wiped the underwear and then flushed them.
He didn't call you up there to
You
be
know, he
his.
fucking sat on the sink and shit.
unlike-
He didn't call you up there to
Was
be
he
his
wearing a-
ook,
was
did
he
he?
wearing a
No,
white
nobody
gi?
asked me to be the ook.
Coach Ricky.
You mean the uke?
All right,
The
Coach.
uke.
Coach Ricky's got a nice white belt story. You ready to come back for this? Let's do it.
Well, not a white belt story, but just the grossest.
Gross story.
Okay,
Gross
we'll go
story.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
my
last week.
gross story.
So there was a Houston Open tournament where this blue belt on our team, he got his finger like broken perpendicular to how it should have
One of
been.
those 90 degrees.
Yeah, and the ref didn't see it, and this dude is super tough, so he just kind of kept going, but he was trying to not use the hand, and the ref didn't see it, and everyone was yelling like, "Ref, his finger, his finger, his finger!" And then the ref saw it. They stopped the match. They reset his finger. They taped it. I think they did a horrible job of taping it because when they reset it,
Unprofessional.
yeah, because when they started the match again, it broke again.
Is this guy
And-
still training?
No, but
Okay.
he kept going
Because
I
he
think-
lost his hand.
No,
Yeah, exactly. He had to get his hand
He's got
amputated.
a hook hand, you know.
Oh,
One of these,
shit.
you know?
I think he ended up losing the match because they couldn't keep
Shit, I
his
would
finger in place.
Oh,
man.
No, but he wanted to keep
Man.
going.
It's in the
Yeah.
rules.
And he
Of
was
course.
really
I
tough.
mean, that's the natural
You know,
reaction.
They're in the rule set.
Yeah, one thing about this guy that I want to be really clear, he was super tough. I remember training with him during practice. I was a higher belt, and he would give me so many problems. It was really frustrating.
But would
at
you
the
say
time.
that most people that quit are super tough?
Nah.
I think so.
Well, he didn't quit though. They
So-
disqualified. him.
So there's a really, really gross moment that happened not this past year, but I think 2 years ago at the Houston Open. The last time the Houston Open was held at St. Thomas University.
I remember that year.
One of our students, still a student, trains very hard, very dedicated, has incredibly flexible shoulders, which we
Oh
found
God!
out
Oh
at the
God!
Houston
God!
Open.
Yeah,
God.
So he got caught in an Americana, and so I
His
was,
shit was backwards,
So, yeah,
man.
dude, I was. So this is the. So
I remember.
first of all, I'm
That was
already
bad.
I'm already a brown belt, almost a black belt at this point, and the guy that was on top applying the Americana was really good at it because he applied it in such a way that I had never seen. So he went the normal way, you know, hand on top of the wrist, hand on top of your wrist, started cranking, but then he modified it to where he put his shoulder behind the elbow and both hands were on
Yeah,
the wrist.
yeah.
So he could drive and stack the shoulder, right? So like
That's
super
a nasty
Americana.
lock right there.
And like,
Touched his
I
elbow
was,
to the mat.
I was standing next to my brother. My brother was looking away. Other people were also looking away.
I closed my eyes.
Everybody was waiting to hear the loud fucking
The
snap.
crack.
Everybody was trying to hear that crack.
Yeah.
And there was no crack. He ended up tapping to a wrist lock, I believe.
Yeah, on the other side.
That was the most insane
wrist locks.
submission. How is this guy's shoulder still in place?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that.
That was a
Okay,
good
so
man.
I
That
have
was a
one
good
I forgot
All
about.
right, this is the fault. This is the last one.
That's fine.
As long as it's not a bicep or a calf slicer.
No,
'cause those are
this
fucking
is this is a
disgusting.
true gross story.
Let's
So
do it.
in 2007, I quit my job, moved to Brazil. I'd want to do it for a long time, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go." And so I'm at a tournament, and just like Austin had said, you know, I needed to go to the restroom. I was about to compete, and so I went to the restroom, and like I kind of came around the corner, and I saw there was like water on the ground. So I knew like maybe the pipes were overflowing, but I just needed to pee. That's all I need to do. And so I keep walking kind of like lightly in the water. And then I turn the corner so I can see into the bathroom, right? And I cannot understand. I don't know how to explain. I don't know what led up to this series of events that I'm about to describe, but this is what I witnessed, okay? So as I turned that corner, there was water all on the floor. And there was a young man. He was clothed only in a gi top. So he had no pants on, no underwear. He had a gi top on and no shirt, of course, no belt. Okay. And he was standing in the doorway.
Like Donald Duck.
Yeah, exactly. He had 1 foot on the sink and 1 foot on the ground. So he was pretty stretched out. And he was wiping his ass. Okay.
Good for him.
And as I turned that corner, he looked up and we met eyes.
Oh God.
Okay. And he kind of gave me like the what's up,
Yeah. Hey.
everything's cool. And I just saw that and I started to think about like what's going on in this bathroom. You know, what is happening? The guy's got no pants on. He got a gi top on. I mean, why isn't he in a stall?
Right.
Why is he just in the middle of the bathroom with his leg propped up on the sink, wiping his ass?
These are valid questions.
And at that point, at that point, I was just like, you know what? I can hold it. I'm just gonna hold it, and I'll come back later.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
And that's probably one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Quick question in Brazil. All these guys, a lot of the guys had barefoot, right, in the bathroom.
All of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
All of them.
So
And then they walked on the mat.
I guess as we were previously discussed, we should all have a pretty tight clinch game at this point, though, right?
Clinch
So-
game.
Did you ever
I
get
feel like
any
that was a
answers to
development
those
thing.
questions, Professor?
Never. I never did.
So the mystery exists to this
He
very
walked
day.
out before he.
It to this day, it
It
is still
persists.
an unsolved mystery. I don't know what happened to his
Uh-huh.
You know
pants.
that guy. Is
I don't
giving
know.
That story.
I don't know why he wasn't in a stall. I don't know if he shit in the sink That's a possibility. I don't know.
Do you know this guy's
I
name?
mean, obviously the toilets were clogged up because there was water on the floor. So he could have shit in a urinal. He could have shit in a stall, in the sink, and then he's wiping his ass. Where did he put the toilet paper?
You know he's giving the story
You know?
right now. If I was shitting on the fucking
I don't
sink
know, man.
and I met eyes with this one guy.
They call him Wolverine.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
Excellent. That's a. Do you know this guy's name?
No, I don't even know who he is.
Man, I hope he's listening.
I did not engage him.
look.
I left.
Shout out.
I fled the scene.
He might be deaf and blind.
I fled the scene.
whoever this deaf and blind guy is that Professor Brandon is referencing. If you are listening, please reach out to us. We would love to hear from you.
Braille.
Right. If you're reading this on Braille
I
from
want
YouTube,
the other side of the story.
so
Yeah.
that might be another episode.
What
I
if
don't know
there's
what to
like a
tell you.
super reasonable explanation? and
There's
all of
not.
us are like,
There
oh,
can't be.
All right, guys.
There could be one.
No, there's not.
I got a couple of good questions that we have. One of them I don't want to touch in because I feel like it's going to put a lot of time into it. But one of them,
boner while training.
Let's just avoid the hard work.
well, it's not that we want to avoid the hard work, but we want the hard work to pay off properly. So here's a good one. And let's keep these short. Besides a belt promotion, what was the most meaningful experience you've had in your BJJ career? I think this is good. This is a great question, man. Keep it simple. But outside of a belt promotion, what was your most meaningful experience you've ever had in BJJ? Professor Brandon, start it off.
Oh, just probably winning your first tournament.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, winning a tournament, whether big or small, doesn't matter. But just going through and being the best on that day is that's pretty memorable.
No, absolutely, man. That's like that. Who was it? Boucher who said that you don't have to be the best in the world every day. You just got to be the best in the world for that one match, right?
That's true.
That's absolutely true. That's a good answer. What about you, Professor Allen?
I think aside from any competition or any personal facts, I think just if the moment you realize you fit in the group, right? The moment you're a new person in a new structured environment, and someone tells you, hey, you want to come here and sit with us, or you want to go out and do this, that's the moment you're like, hey, I know I'm in the right place, right? And it continues from there, right? So,
Good answer. Man, I kind of feel like we're on Family Feud. Every time someone answers, we're like, good answer. What about you, Professor Berto? Man, you got 3 seconds. Hurry the fuck up. We're gonna move on. Hurry up.
So with me, it's a little weird because I found out that my dad died on the same day that I got my blue belt. So the day that I found out was the day after my dad died, right? So my dad died on July 10th. I found out on July 11th, 2011.
Right.
So I woke up that day. My mom was at home, which was weird because it was a school day. She's a teacher. She was at home, and she pretty much broke it down to me that my dad died. And of course, I was crying, inconsolable, all that stuff. And I pretty much just started drinking. Right, I was just drinking.
Was this Big Bert back in the day?
No, I'm already training. I'm already part of the school.
Okay.
I'm already a active student.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and so I was pretty much. I started drinking, and mom was like, "You shouldn't be drinking, whatever." And I kind of chilled for a little bit, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go train." And she was like, "You should go train." And I remember I cried the entire drive up there. So I still lived at my mom's house. It's a 30-minute drive to Gracie Baja. I pretty much cried the entire way up there. And jiu-jitsu was such a great tool for me that day because I was able to train and I was able to kind of separate myself from what's happening. And, I was able to interact with the people. I got some good training. And it was just a good training day. And I was able to separate myself from the immediate sadness of my dad dying. And it just so happened that I got my blue belt that day. So, I mean, this is kind of attached to a belt promotion, but what I felt that day, well, it was happiness of getting my blue belt. But that's the day I realized that jiu-jitsu is an incredible tool for your own self, mindset, right? Like it can help you put things into perspective. And I don't know, it just helped me a lot on that day. And I've never forgotten that. And I mean, that's it. That's my story. It
That's
helped me.
good.
It helped me
That's
get
good.
That's
over.
a big deal, man.
It helped
That
me
is a
get
big
over
deal,
my
man.
dad
Yeah.
dying the
Big
day
time.
that he died, and
Yeah.
it was a great tool for me. And
Yeah.
if I did not have jiu-jitsu, I would have drank myself drunk into a bottle and fucking just cried anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But you,
it's-
Coach
it's
Ricky?
good. What about you, Coach?
So one of the most proud moments of my jiu-jitsu career, besides the belt, happened recently actually, and it didn't just it was an accumulation of things. I was coaching at the Houston Open after I had lost, and I had coached in multiple tournaments before, but I was coaching for so long at the Houston Open for very specific people because everyone had coaches, right? So I just stuck with the people that didn't. And again, I've coached before, right? And sometimes I would feel like I'm just kind of like saying obvious things, but I felt that when I was coaching this very specific person, this one person, I coached him through his gold in his division and gold in the absolute division. Yeah, I could see the gratefulness in his face, and he even told me like, man, I would not have moved in the ways that you told in the ways that you were instructing to if you were not there. And so it went from me being like, okay, I'm getting the hang of all this movement, right? Me as a brown belt being like, okay, I'm practicing every day how to execute things on the mat, but there's a lot of mental training that goes with that. It's a lot of like how to make sure other people know how to do the same thing, how to be able to, I guess, teach in a correct way to where the person understands easily. And that's pretty hard if it's in a tournament and it's
Well, you have to
kinda
rely
like
on
on the fly.
the person rolling to be able to hear you, which is almost an acquired skill for someone training jiu-jitsu to be able to hear their coach.
And you always see those lost, and I say lost souls, right? But it's the guys who are quiet, who they're not within the group, and you help them out. You can tell they really appreciate when you fucking help them, right?
Yeah, so I was coaching hard. I was losing my voice, and people on other teams were like, "Hey man, can you coach my guy?" Kind of just like joking around, but just because I was one trying to be the loudest, but two trying to be the most correct, and I guess because my teammate won a gold, I felt like I also won that gold.
Absolutely.
But it felt a little bit closer because it was my direct words.
Well, yeah, it's showing that this time invested is paying off.
Yeah,
you know?
along with their direct skill. That's most of it, right? Like
their ability to execute and your ability to tell them when to
yeah,
execute and how to execute.
they won because they had the skill set
Right.
to win,
Right.
right?
That's
But
a good answer.
I just felt like I had a part in driving the car.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's a damn good answer. So my outside of Professor Brandon accepting my friend request on Facebook, that was probably
That was an accident.
look. Hey, can just shut the fuck up when I answer. All right, people don't need to know the whole
And
story.
if I find out you didn't delete my phone number when I told you to, there's gonna be big trouble.
Man, I posted it on my Instagram.
Who wants to know Professor Brandon's phone number right now?
Starts with 7. No. But outside of Professor Brandon accepting my friend request, I would have to say it got to the same part where it was kind of like Coach Ricky. I like to consider myself, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for almost right about 10 years now, but I like to consider myself a theoretical jiu-jitsu practitioner, kind of like physics, right? You have the guys that test theories, and then you have the guys that just kind of come up with theories and can explain it. It was a good day one day when I think it was a purple belt at one point, and I had a lower belt come up, and we had been rolling quite a bit, and I'd been catching them in a couple of different techniques and everything, and they asked me, they're like, "Hey man, can you help me out?" So I stayed after in class for a little bit, showed them some techniques and stuff that I'm not very confident in my game, but again, my theory is a little bit better than my practice. If you want to ask me how to do something, I can lay down the techniques and the details, but I don't ask me to show it to you. But I was showing this guy techniques, and we were working on it a couple times. He asked me, the following weeks after that, maybe 3-4 weeks, it same kind of thing. Hey, can you stay after a little bit and show me this? Can you show me this? And after a while, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, man, I've really been working that stuff we've been working on, and it's been helping me out a lot. Would you consider giving me privates?" And it's one of those things that it's
I got a wife, dude.
yeah. She's very supportive, so here we are. 20s times tough, bro. But it kind of gave me to that point where it's like, look, you know what? I'm at this point. I don't have to be the best in my school. I don't have to be the best in my class, but when I'm there, I try to absorb the information. I try to learn the technique as it is, and I try to help my teammates succeed as best as they can. We're even though we compete individually, we train as a team. So anytime that we can help, the people around us that we see, daily elevate their game, it works out good. And when you have someone come up and approach you and say, "Hey, look, man, you've been giving me some good information. I'd like to pay you for your time and really utilize this." It makes it it kind of gave me a boost where I'm like, you know what? Even though I may not be able to execute these things, and we've got these guys that are far superior to me in these schools, that I have, in this time that I've dedicated to jiu-jitsu, I've retained information. I've been able to explain it to people to help elevate their game and help the team out in general.
Everybody has something to offer.
Absolutely,
right? Everyone has something to offer.
I'm what I like to call the ego booster for the school. Hey, we got a brown belt here. Let's do it. Let's do an intro on him. You tapped him really well. Good job for you. You should sign up.
Austin, what do you think?
Austin, come on, buddy.
So that's real easy. So we had a pretty terrible hurricane in Houston, Harvey. I'm sure everybody remembers. And after this hurricane, everybody's life was really negatively impacted. My business partner and my friends and my family. A lot of people had water in their place, and we had water in the school. It came up from underneath, and it ruined the mats and everything. And so I got a phone call. I was over here at the brewery working, and I got a phone call. "Hey, can you come over to the school, and can you bring a ladder? We've got some work that we need to do." And so I made it over, and everybody that's kind of in that inner group was there. The people that work at the school and the people that are really connected to the school. And I felt like for the first time, like, hey, this isn't just a place that I come to train.
It's a team.
There's a team, but there's also a family here. This is a family. And so, Professor said, "We're going to go pick up these mats, and we're going to take 2 trucks, and I'm going to ride with you." And so Professor rode in my car, and I got like 25 minutes of just uninterrupted FaceTime with Professor, and I played the Cult, Firewoman, and he loves the Cult. She sells Sanctuary and Firewoman, and he was like, "Hey, the Cult, this is good." And I was like, "Yeah, Professor, I'm pretty much like, I'm awesome with the music stuff,
I mean, like,
we should hang out. We should probably hang out way more. We should probably hang out like way more.
But so Professor,
what are you doing tomorrow?
You have a clubhouse?
He gave me a cell phone number, right?
Wow.
I have Professor's cell phone number.
That is on every business card, by the way.
I don't bother him with it. I don't bother him with it. But I have it, and that made me feel like, this is a guy, he's got 5 degrees on his black belt. He's listed on some of the websites that are there to discuss the best that there ever has been and there ever will be in the sport that I love more than anything. And this person is larger than life, but then you meet him and he's so humble and he's so cool and he's so nice and he's so welcoming and friendly.
Absolutely, man.
And so I only ever heard about this guy as like this like larger than life guy, and then I meet him and he's so cool and he's so cool to me, and I got to have this personal interaction with him. And so for me, I was like, this is better than a belt. This is better than a stripe. This is better than a gold. This is a connection with a guy. And someday down the line, a long time from now, people are going to say, oh yeah, you got a black belt. Okay. From who, and, I'll be 50 or whatever. And I'll say
49
Draculino. And they'll go,
Professor Draculino.
Oh,
you mean Vinny?
Not unless you work at the bank.
They'll say, "Oh, well, my goodness."
Well, damn. So slight kind of side funny story to that. Family and I we did vacation outside of Boston a couple years back.
Boston.
Fucking Boston.
Boston.
Bananas.
Bananas, man. Them guys have been Boston bananas,
in
man.
Boston
Fucking
history
cat.
since Jack Kennedy was shot.
Bananas.
Fucking Boston, yeah. But so no, we did a vacation outside of Boston. I'm not gonna say the town because there's only one jiu-jitsu school there. But
Tahinian.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not proud.
You already said it. If there's only one jujitsu,
Well, I didn't say what town outside of Boston, but
know it.
I stopped in.
what town.
It's funny. I stopped in. I gave them a call. Everybody was hanging out. We do a family vacation with another family, and I was like, hey, stop by the school and check it out. And they're like, oh, we got no gi going on. I'm like, all right, what's the mat fee? $25. I'm like, cool, no problem. I'll show up. Showed up. I was like, hey, guest from out of town. I'd like to just want to roll for a couple hours and everything, train with you guys. It's like, yeah, $25 mat fee. Pull out my card and they're like, where do you train? I'm like, oh, Gracie Baja, Texas with Dracolino. They're like, oh.
They literally throw the card back at you.
Oh man,
How dare you give us your money?
They almost cut it up and said it was declined. But no, it got worse because this was I think I
Can you show us a technique?
yes. I think I had just gotten my brown belt, maybe one stripe, I can't remember. And they're like, oh, you train with Dracolino? I'm like, yeah. They're like, can you show us something? I was like, fuck.
Sure.
Intro lesson.
So I showed him the triple tap, the universal escape to every jiu-jitsu sport technique.
I'm glad Brandon cleared that up last.
I don't remember. I
podcast
still don't
because-
know what that means.
Yeah, I was confused about that for years.
What, the triple tap?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Tap 3 times.
Tap 3 times, you're out of that motherfucker.
This is called a tap.
But yeah, it gets it.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
just
thank
called
you,
a
Coach
tap.
Ricky. It's just called a tap.
Because if you try to tap just once, what is that, Professor Brandon?
That's grabbing.
That's grabbing. What if you do
grabbing.
it 2 times?
That's grabbing.
You're trying to grab twice.
That's
Triple
right.
tap.
What about 3
son.
times?
That's tap.
That's tap.
2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Y'all ever see
Alright.
the people that tap, but they really just slap the shit out of whoever?
Just once.
Yeah.
That's a song.
One time.
It's normally like a
That's
2
a song.
tap.
It's
It's like
battery.
1, 2 is like, you got it. It's like, what the fuck?
No, we call that the mosquito tap.
Dude,
That's a mosquito tap. You just go.
If
That's
y'all
that
want to
phantom
use
tap.
the last 11 minutes to learn the difference between assault and battery, I'm happy to
So
tell you.
it-
Yeah, I want to know.
It's a double tap. You got it. I keep cranking. Hey. Like, yo, tap 3
Right.
times, Like,
Yeah.
hey, tap on me.
Tap,
You
tap,
don't have to put
I-
your lips on the microphone.
I hate when people say, I
Everybody
got it.
wants my lips.
I want to
All right.
say to them, yeah, I know. I was fucking
Not true.
there.
Not true.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we got one more question,
Oh,
but
you got it. You got it.
we're gonna turn this into a hopefully a weekly little bit, but it's how to deal with a mythological creature. They addressed it to
Oh.
Professor Brandon. They
We
addressed
only
it-
have 11 minutes.
What's the
So we need a quick answer, Professor Brandon.
Okay.
Hey,
quick answer?
round
Okay.
table,
Quick
round
answer,
table.
quick
We're
answer.
down to about 11 minutes.
Let's go.
So
Lightning round.
here it is: how to take down a mermaid in the water.
Oh.
In the water.
I know. how.
Okay, hold on. Are we close to the shore?
No.
Hold on. Hey, that's a valid question.
That is a valid question.
Wait,
that wasn't
wait,
specified.
I already know what to do.
How about this? How about this?
In the water, can it be a pool?
No, mermaids don't live in pools, you dumb son of a bitch.
No, I'm talking about a fight.
Bro, go
Fucker.
watch Little
We
Mermaid.
setting
you
this shit up.
Motherfucker.
Shit.
God damn it. That's mine. That's my money. Yeah.
So
go
hang
ahead,
on.
take all
The
that.
question is how
know
to
the
take
answer.
down a mermaid in the water.
In the water.
Not take
That's
down,
not a-
but like
that's not a valid
defeat her,
question.
defeat her,
Yeah.
defeat
That's
her.
not a valid question.
Well, I tell you what it wouldn't be. A double leg.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
double leg.
No way.
Well, obviously do a single leg.
Single
It
leg.
would have to be a
Obviously
single
do
leg.
a single leg.
So now I have a question.
Yeah.
Which side does your head go to?
Huh?
Which side does your head go to?
The
Your head
inside.
goes on the inside on a single leg, right? What's the inside? I guess it would depend on what knee you put down.
Well, because-
on what ocean floor?
Because okay, so
It depends on their body.
yeah, that's
Their
Which side
body
do you
so.
come from?
position.
First of all, if we're serious,
but if you grab,
first of all, if we're serious, look, we're talking about in the
Is she
water.
kind of cute? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
which is the inside.
Merman.
Their chest.
Merman.
It's a merman or mermaid?
There's one leg in the middle.
Yeah, okay,
It
but
is
look,
like-
you can't do a takedown in the water because you're not really on the ground. It's like it's out. I mean, obviously we live in 3 dimensions, but like it's all over the place, right?
I'm
So
saying do a takedown in space.
yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same thing. You can't do
It's
it.
not
They call that a
relevant.
space
There is
down.
no takedown.
you a
Is it-
fucking
okay.
astronaut? Are you a fucking
So
astronaut?
Because is it mount or is it guard? Tell me the truth.
Look, hold on,
Is it
hold
mount
on.
or is it guard?
Exactly.
Because
You
you can't tell
can't
the
tell in
difference
the water.
water
Quick-
or in space. You
quick-
can't tell the difference.
No, there is an up and down relative to the Earth in the ocean. There is a
Yeah, okay, but
bottom of
I'm
the
assuming that we have some sort of breathing device on, a respirator or whatever.
Just beat her
so
ass.
we're not
So
going
OG
to
gonna
drown.
beat her ass.
Obviously, they can breathe underwater.
Okay, hold on.
So we're
let me
in
add-
the water. We're not
very
on
little
the sea
specifics
floor.
Let me add some quick
Right?
details to this. All right, sorry, Jeannie K, if this is not what you
Does she
intended,
have
this is how we're
gills?
going. But here it is.
Come with some real questions. Give me real answers.
So, Professor Brandon, you are in Water World. You are now mulleted Kevin Costner with neck gills.
I'm a sapien.
We'll say sapien. We're not going to say the other side.
You have the
all
little
right?
pouches. You have the
Yeah,
little
so I have
pouches
the
of-
gills behind my ears.
Right.
Okay.
So you have the ability to breathe underwater. So you're not at
Okay.
the disadvantage of breathing underwater.
He
okay?
has little pouches of dirt.
We already went over that, by the way.
Right. So I'm just clarifying for our listeners. So here you are, in a very magnificent Kevin Costner-esque mulleted
Yeah.
gill having
Great movie.
facade.
Okay, so
Well, I
so
wouldn't go that
look.
far.
First of all,
Great
I'll
movie.
say this: having a takedown in the water doesn't make any sense. But if I had to ask the question, the answer would be arm drag.
That is
Okay,
one,
you would arm
that is
drag to the back.
100% acceptable. That is.
Well, that's the correct answer because I'm a black belt. Okay, you would arm drag.
You know what, Professor? We don't see color here. You're just a belt. You are just a belt right now.
Says the brown belt.
So the fist tray. Anyways,
Disrespectfully, I might add.
So
The answer to the question is arm drag.
Arm drag.
All
Arm
right.
drag, Genie. So there you go. Next time Ariel gives you some shit, arm drag that bitch.
I thought we were gonna do the Gremlins
Choke
one.
her out.
I think
Well, that'll be for next one. That'll be
okay.
next one.
So
All
here's the
right,
thing:
all right.
is like you cannot grab onto the fin, right? So we're talking about a mermaid; they don't have legs.
It's
they have a
slippery.
fin. Yes,
Yeah, it's
scales,
slippery. It's way too powerful.
So,
It just doesn't work mechanically
it's
either.
a huge composite of muscles, way too strong. Like
It's not gonna work.
No,
You ghetto
can't.
grab her
You
by
have
the
to-
hair.
That was good.
You have to arm drag, like Professor said.
Right.
Maybe a snap down. To
Yeah, okay, but look, the snap down. How are you gonna get
Snap down
leverage?
doesn't count. Yeah, you're not going to get leverage.
You can get the guard.
No.
You can wrap your legs
Yeah,
around.
No, but we're
Professor,
taking,
I
we're
disagree,
taking-
man. You
Bro,
don't have
we're taking down. We're not
because
pulling
you're not
guard.
on the sea floor. You don't have any leverage to pull them down.
You don't have any leverage to pull them down, but like you said, you have the gills behind.
What if you're hanging
right?
outside the
your-
chum bucket?
your legs
That
are
doesn't
wrapped-
have anything to do with
but your-
leverage.
But your legs are around the waist and your arm is around the neck.
That's not a snap down.
So you basically what you're saying
Snap
is jump into a
down, guillotine.
guillotine.
I said guillotine.
no, but we're talking about a takedown.
No,
Damn
but
it.
I said snap down to a guillotine.
All right,
So-
listeners.
Yeah, but if you're in the closed guard, that's
so
different.
One thing I would say is
Wrist lock.
It's apples and oranges, Professor
first
Berto.
of all,
Wrist lock.
Ariel probably doesn't know how to fucking hand fight, right? So first of all, when she grabs me, I'm breaking the grip.
this is no gi.
I'm breaking the
You're not wearing a
grip.
gi in the
She
water.
grab my neck. I'm breaking the fucking grip. I'm gonna fucking ghetto grab her fucking hair.
You're gonna go
and
2-on-1. She's gonna arm
Grab
drag you.
the fucking hair.
Austin,
and
so
just
is
shake her
grabbing
around.
the hair of a mermaid, is that assault or battery?
It's
Or
battery.
both?
It's battery.
That's battery?
Well, no. Okay, so that's a good question, right? It's both.
Okay.
Right.
It's assault if they see it coming. It's better if they don't, right?
Unless she's facing the other way.
Yeah, you have to see
Right.
see it
So-
coming, right?
Assault is the anticipation of a battery. Battery is harmful or offensive contact.
Okay.
Battery's
And
a
so
sucker punch.
If you have your eyes closed and someone punches you, they battered you, but they haven't assaulted you. But if someone holds up a fist like they're gonna punch you, but they don't, they've assaulted you, but they haven't battered you.
What if I cover her eyes first and then I beat the
Then
shit
you,
out of
That's
then
her?
you
battery.
battered her
That's
and
battery,
assaulted her
yeah.
unless she didn't see the blindfold coming.
Man,
In which case, you battered her.
So in a
There we
court
go.
of
That's
in
what
a
I'm
court
going
of
for.
law,
Yeah.
because the mermaid obviously isn't a human. Would
Whoa,
Professor
whoa,
Allen would he
whoa.
be charged with assault and battery because that is
No, it would be some kind of
animal cruelty?
A violation of endangered species.
I feel like
Act
we're
or something
violating
like that,
a
which is
lot of
federal.
Straight up murder her.
Professor, That's
Fuck it.
federal. That's serious stuff.
well, not
No,
only that,
I
almost
agree
want
that
it
it
to
is.
be a
Yeah,
felony.
I
Battery or
agree.
something
not
like
only
that.
that. I mean, if you damage a mermaid, I mean, that's
So I have-
there's not a lot
I
of
have
them
a
floating
question.
around.
Is
so.
this a mermaid with the fish waist down or a fish waist up?
No, come on. Get
That's
the
a real
fuck out.
question.
Get the fuck out of here. It's obviously waist down.
Have you ever seen a
I have a
mermaid?
Come
follow-up
on.
question.
Yeah, so a
Does
mermaid that is fish from the waist up, you heel hook.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
but also
They
too,
can't get
that's,
to- they can't-
that's
they can't get back
nothing.
to the water.
A mermaid has never been described in that manner ever.
A,
So let me ask you
a
this.
mermaid with a
That's
fish head
ridiculous
is
sea
called
creature.
a fish-headed bitch.
Second question: is she cute? Because
Does
hold
the
on,
mermaid-
that changes the whole game.
Does
That
the
right?
depends on how you
mermaid
look
have
at
wrists?
fish, Professor Allen.
Yes.
Right.
You
Wrist
look at your
locker.
fish tank and
I don't
you're
know,
like,
man.
damn,
It's a
all right.
That's not a
mermaid. She's
takedown.
half human.
Come on, guys.
Takedown.
Come on. Here we go. All right, look.
She's
You
half
can take
human.
somebody down with a wrist lock.
I've
I'll do it.
in a keto.
You can, yeah.
What are you,
in a
Steven Seagal
keto.
now?
Oh,
You
like
Steven
a keto
Seagal
isn't
now?
valid? Oh, I do jujitsu.
You're
Hey,
Steven Seagal
keto's
now.
not valid
All right.
anymore.
Don't knock
Austin
off.
Seagal.
Don't knock off
Steven Weber.
Officer Steven Seagal and his front kicks, motherfucker. All right, protecting Louisiana since 2014.
My cousin does a keto. and he's
Anyway.
pretty tough.
Look, guys, we're getting to our 2-hour mark here, man. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening once again. On behalf of everybody here at the Fifth Stripe Podcast, like say goodbye. Please listen to us next time and enjoy these sick ass beats from. What are you calling yourself now, Austin?
Richie Money Changers.
Richie Money Changers.
JustKeyPants.com.
DGP.C.
All right, your boy.